Hello.
Good evening. Glad to have you all here with me. We're going to be taking on the beginning of session 2 of The Wrong Side of the Wall with Good Intentions tonight. All roads lead here. And I remembered the name, but only just barely. Tonight we're going to have Thomas start us off with the recap, and then we're going to dive right in, because I think we were just about to get some action going, although I'll have to wait and see what it is that's about to happen in that bar. Thomas, why don't you take us away?
Alrighty. Because of the format of last episode, where Task was separate from the rest of the group, my recap is going to be a little weird. I'm going to start with half of the group, the half that had Cyrus and the other boys, and then there will be an addendum at the end in general terms, because Cyrus knows nothing of what's happening to Task. So it'll be broken into 2 parts here. All right. New Toronto, cell block 7. Cozy little refugee shelter called the Steak Sauce. Well, some designation ending in A1, which was apparently the reigning sauce here. Doesn't matter. It's easier to remember this way. So, as soon as we landed, we got swarmed by some kind of stormtroopers. Now, on a regular day, just Kale and I alone probably could have slipped them. But with all the refugees on board, we didn't really have a choice but to lay down arms. Kale and I got dragged off to the sauce, and for Naomi, Natasha, and Snargle, God knows where they got pulled off to. I've been keeping my eyes and ears open for them, but it's hard to move around here. Hard to get info that isn't tied to a shiv or a trigger. We've been here for about 3 weeks now, and it's been pretty terrible, admittedly. Getting a meal ticket here is as good as gold, and marginally harder to stake claim for. We've been working with Doc. The sauce is Doc. She's as close to a fixer as you get around here. She sees everyone and hears about a few more than that. She knows what needs doing, and Kale and I have been doing it, at least as best we can. Unfortunately, this most recent job is one that needs doing fast and hard. Serial killers on the loose, taking 2 victims at a time, stitching the face of one to another. Body count is somewhere up around 12 now, and that's just what the doc even knows about. And there's a bit of scuttle that they're turning up at other shelters too, though unconfirmed. Doc introduced Kale and I to a few of her other helpers. Zaniel, a stoic and seemingly cold man, cowering but graceful. Haven't seen him in action yet, but something tells me I'd rather keep him on my side. Alongside him was Themrir. Well, he's a bit odd even in this melting pot. It looks like at one time he was some kind of dragon man, but now he looks like he'd be more at home in a museum next to the other fossils. He's still moving, though, and doing a pretty good job at it. Despite his intimidating looks, he seems friendly enough, if not strange. He managed to reanimate the victims, through some sort of magic. They didn't have long, but we managed to get a lead from one of them. He was a ganger, got snatched up on the streets right out from under the rest of his gang, it would seem. Gang doesn't have a name, but their leader did. Dane. Don't know where to find him, but Doc says there's a watering hole, a neutral ground called the Crucified Man. That may be a good place to start. We took on a bit of a following on our way there. Some street toughs who thought an old man and his 3 giant friends would be easy marks. Danielle tried to warn them that they were picking a bad fight, and failing to heed his warning, I did my damnedest to convince them that he wasn't lying. I even put on my best tirade voice for my years in dukedom, but the leader decided he could win. He shouldn't have even qualified for that race. Sad I had to take a life to do it, but hopefully word on the streets gets around that Cyrus and the boys don't play. Only give warnings that are to be heeded if you don't want to do business. Finally making it to the Crucified Man, we stepped inside. Another den of vice, just like any other. But unfortunately, it looks like there were some folks waiting for us. Don't know who I've managed to piss off enough to start something on neutral ground in just 3 weeks. Unless Snargle put out a hit for taking him out of the lush and lavish life he'd grown accustomed to. I guess it doesn't matter in this instance. Let's see how the boys hold up under fire. And outside of Cyrus, what was happening with Task, meanwhile, is that Task has awoken a couple of times, it would seem, in a setting unknown to him. He's informed by a mysterious voice that his awakening was awaited, and it would be in everyone's interests for them to meet. The owner of the voice, and at the very least, some amount of explanation would await him on the other end of a yellow brick road. Task would be safe on this path from the dangers of this strange place, but he would be tempted in various ways to stray from the path, to exchange safety for want or seeming need. Task resolved himself to follow the path, and though tempted by pleas from voices for help and even the familiar face of a Beadoon, pleading him to come and help the rest of their comrades, he managed to shut down a portion of his brain that would fall prey to these tricks, carrying on. The false Beadoon immediately confirmed that this was the right move by transforming into a snarling and gnashing beast, unable to cross the threshold of the road to engage his prey. Eventually, Task made it to the end of the road and met the source of the voice, a giant tree claiming to be a powerful entity named the Pilgrim, that needs to call many to arms for a great conflict. The Pilgrim revealed that when Task grabbed the medallion atop the CN Tower, he and his compatriots were ripped through space-time to various universes. Although, because he was the one to touch the medallion, he ended up here, rather than lost among worlds like the others. Retrieving his friends would be a matter of finding the right focus, something the Pilgrim could help him do by sending him to the appropriate world and giving him a tool to assist his search. This said, Task was bestowed with the Black Oracle Box, a black cube seemingly intelligent with a leathery texture and unsettling decorations. This cube will answer any yes or no question accurately if the information is available. The Pilgrim then offered Task the advice that there are some people in the world he's about to be sent to that could potentially help him, though in this instance they themselves may need a bit of help first.
Beautiful. I think that hits all the salient points. Anybody want to add anything? Any questions?
Yeah, that was good, Thomas.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was very good. All right. So let's take a look around the bar for a moment and pick up where we left off. You had basically just stepped inside. Now there's a little bit of a airlock of sorts as you come in. It's a long hallway where you can tell that there's maybe some killer holes in the wall, just in case you weren't as neutral as you ought to be. And you've made your way through that into the bar proper. The smells of the moonshine and the rot gut in the back, whatever massive vats must be feeding this huge crowd, just permeating the air. It's enough that those of you who still have sinuses might wish that you didn't, or expect that you won't by the time you're done here. There's an awful mix of races. And awful is probably the right word. A lot of them aren't exactly aesthetically pleasing mixes. Most of them are unfamiliar to Cyrus and to Kale. A few of them do prick the memories of Themrir and Zaniel, however. Amongst them is the large reptilian that's at one of the center tables. This one's maybe a little bit larger, a little more well outfitted than some of the others, and you can see that there's a lot of people lingering around it as though waiting to see if anybody at that table needs anything. See that there's people with cups and pitchers and plates at the ready, all hanging about there. And beyond those, a ring of men whose hands don't seem to be straying far from the insides of their jackets or their waists and the things that are slung therefrom. The reason that you have only a moment to notice this, of course, is that basically as soon as you've made it into their bar proper, someone slams their hands on the table. Cyrus Vance! All right, boys, get him. And a dozen people stand up from various tables around the room, each of them with a weapon quickly to hand. The man who said that, who slammed the table and called out Cyrus, was sitting at that middle table besides the reptilian creature that Zaniel and Themrir recognized. He's a big, heavy-set man, a thick beard running down to the middle of his chest. He, in other circumstances, you'd say that he actually has sort of a Santa Claus look to him. His stomach evidences good living, or might have at one point. Now you get the impression that He's living off of that good living, as there's a little bit of extra room in his clothing compared to maybe when he first put it on. But he still looks like a big, tough guy, and so do all the people who have stood up along with him. You have only a few moments to assess that, though, before several dozens of individuals stand up around the room, weapons to hand, and point them at the first set of people. Now, Crawford, you know there's no violence on neutral ground. The crucified man is mine. The only time anybody dies here is when I say so. The reptilian next to the big man looks up at him and doesn't have to look up very far. It's a lot bigger than the human beside him. Besides, we're not finished our business. Shamid, right, our business. The tributes. I haven't forgotten. Just, this has to be dealt with first. It's personal. You understand how it is? Personal. Really? You intrigue me. I can't let this bastard get away from me. Not again. And he looks at you, Cyrus, and you don't recognize him. If I even let him slip out of here, I'll never see him again.
Interesting that you have a personal gripe with me, considering I have no idea who you are.
Cyrus, is this someone that we fought once?
The man looks at you, and I would like you, Cyrus, particularly to make an intellect roll. Difficulty 3.
Can I ask what it is regarding, or?
Sure, you're trying to notice something happening that's trying to be kept subtle.
I have a skill called Identification and Assessment to quickly identify anger, lies, importance, function, or power.
Sure, I think that counts.
So we'll
Take an ease.
one with that, and let's see.
You need to hit a 6 right now.
Would my underworld dealings come into play here, or?
No, not in this particular case. Well, actually, you know what? Yeah.
Okay.
So let's. I'll give you another ease.
We'll get 2 natural easing, and then I'll do my roll. Oh wait, sorry.
Don't roll a 1 or a 2.
Actually, what I'm gonna do,
Yep.
because we've technically been doing
90% chance to succeed. Wait,
is I will
85?
set the difficulty to 3, and then I will set my effort to 2. I think that's the proper way to do it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
6%.
that's the way to do it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Butte, no problem.
And there's no cost because you use your perks.
Mm-hmm. So you don't have to bother spending those points. So it's trying to be kept fairly on the low, but you are a man who has been in danger before, and more than that, you've been in positions sort of like this before. So you notice 2 things. One is that all the men who stood up and originally pointed weapons at you are shifting around the room. They're doing it slowly. They're not doing it with any great speed or urgency, but as long as the conversation at the center table is going on, they've been moving slowly but surely into different positions. Not, interestingly, to encircle the group at the door, but to try and spread themselves back out of the bigger circle of others who stood up to point weapons at them. And the man at the center table has been rolling a coin around his fingers as he's been talking. You know, splaying them from finger to finger, knuckle to knuckle. Just could be any old coin, but the design catches your eye all of a sudden. And you get the impression that he's been playing with this coin with you in mind, because you recognize the symbol of the Kingdom of Flame.
Gotcha. There.
Now, don't give me that. And the man looks, somewhere between wounded and angry as he looks at you. You know what you did. He looks back at the reptilian creature. This guy, major criminal. Kind of like criminal royalty. Back where I came from, they called him the Duke. Isn't that right, Duke?
They did more than just call me that. It was my official position in the kingdom. It was my title. So I think what you meant was they called me His Lord Duke Cyrus Vance.
And the guy looks up and then looks back down. Oh, so much for subtlety. Ah, another one of your countrymen then. He can come join us at the table. Sorry, Duke. Didn't mean to draw you in like that. That didn't work out at all. Shoot him, boys. Not him. Them. And he ducks under the table as the reptilian creature stands to his feet and all hell breaks out in the room. Task. You landed in the bar at the completely other side of the bar. You're near the massive vats and the huge kegs, 3 or 4 people tall, that line the back of the bar. You hear voices coming from inside. You hear the first slamming on the desk and the call out of Cyrus Vance. The conversation beyond that is a little bit muffled from where you are. And there's a lot of noise back here. And this area, there's a lot of, I guess you might assume they're servitors running around. You've got these little goblinoid creatures, or they look kind of like, they've got reptilian heads and faces and small bodies moving back and forth amongst the various stills. Some of them are running water from these large canisters, and they're pouring the water into the stills as though every drop was liquid gold, like taking absolute care not to spill a single drop. And they watch the whole thing like hawks. You get very strongly the impression that they feel like their lives are on the line. And they're chattering amongst themselves as they sort of watch the drama unfolding over the edges of, sort of a 3/4 wall. Occasionally one of them will sort of scrabble up a bit, take a look, and then go back to its work. Others will, apparently on break or some sort of respite from their efforts, pool around together and tear at little bits of flesh that have been left out on a table for them. And they're all chattering about, various things that they have seen or heard in sort of a mishmash between some language that you don't recognize and something close enough to the English of your home world that you're able to parse some meaning out of it. You hear things like gangs, and you hear blood, and you hear bodies, and you hear head, and you hear gun, things like that. I think she doesn't attend the test this time for sure.
Okay, well, with no context as to who's where or who's on what side, I walk up to the first warm body, basically, who's capable of speech. You there. Tell me what planet this is. Do you have a name for it? And the designation of this area.
The little creature looks up at you as though, 1, incredibly surprised that you're back here, and 2, really distressed that you're back here. Huh?
You need me to repeat my question? Are you capable of hearing sound?
Who is this? I don't know the button. Well, wait, look. The creatures both gape up at you. You're not supposed to be back here. Jimmy will be very angry.
Where am I supposed to be?
I'm not a philosopher.
I will repeat my question once more, and then I will start breaking objects. What is this planet called, and what is the destination of this location?
Zaniel, he's going to break something. And the two little goblinoids scurry over to a third goblinoid. He's going to break something. Going to break something? Yeah. Oh. And they run out, all three of them, and they come back with a big bull-chested man with huge neck muscles and looks like the head of a bull of some kind, with antlers that just sort of point up and out. And he's got 6 of those. What are you doing back here?
I was transported to your planet for multiversal travel. I have asked your associates a question. Would you like me to repeat it to you?
It blinks at you. Get out, or I'll throw you out.
That is unlikely. You would not be able to lift me. But I will gladly leave your establishment as soon as you answer my question.
I said out! And it sort of paws at the ground with one of his feet.
Your exact species is not listed in my database, but you remind me of certain things my father has told me about. You will not be able to subdue me. Please answer my question and I'll leave peacefully.
That's it. And it cracks a knuckle and it starts in your direction. A bullet zings in between the two of you, briefly pausing it. And then it continues in your direction.
Okay.
We'll come back to you in just a moment.
All right, very good.
We'll come back to you standing on top of him.
All right, so let's head over to this here. Let me set this up for just a moment. Drop that into there. And boop. All right, let me know when you can all see that.
Sure can.
All right. So this grid is not meant to represent the exact distance between anything, but rather to help you get an idea of relative positioning. So I'm going to reveal things as they become, as you become aware of them, and enable you to say, okay, where are they? Are they behind me? Are they in front of me? Are they, kind of far in front of me or very close? But don't think of this as a strict battle grid in terms of 5 feet in each direction or anything like that.
Gotcha.
We're also going to do mass group fighting here. And this is something that we're probably going to do a couple of times throughout the campaign. And the way that mass group fighting works is that I represent a group of NPCs as sort of a single NPC. They'll always go after the party. Their difficulty to hit is always 1. But their ability to hit you, your ability to defend against them, will depend on how many are in the group. So, for instance, if there's 8 thugs in a group, then your difficulty to avoid their attacks is going to be 8, right? Subject to whatever easing and effort you put in. As you whittle the group down, the difficulty to avoid all of those shots and blows will decrease. Each of them always will do you only 1 damage rather than the 2, 4, or 6 based on normal weapons. And for each damage that you do, you will reduce the total of the group by 1. Their entry in the initiative order tracker will not be based on where they go in the turn, but how many of them there are. Like I said, they will always go after you. Right, so now what I'd like you to do is to select your tokens. And let me pull up the turn order thing and make sure that it's clear. I do want to clear the list. All right. So please select your tokens and then click initiative. Meanwhile, I shall reveal some thugs.
Ah, there they are. Please, they look like circles. No.
Watch out, guys! They're slugs! Wait, they're thugs. Oops. Oh, there's literally a guy named Slad. Awesome.
Cyrus,
for
I
clear-
rolled an 8.
Incredible. I thought I was the badass kid.
Are you proud of me?
You know it, son.
You know why you didn't roll a 7? Because 7's in jail. Because
Freedom
7,
nine?
8, 9.
Oh my
Mhm.
God. Chris, for clarification, Crawford was the man who had a gripe with me, and Slod was the apparent owner of the establishment.
His name was Shamid,
Ah.
but what kind
He
of
is a
creature
Slod.
he is might be something that's known by Zaniel and Themrir.
Gotcha. But Crawford was the one who had a gripe with me.
He is.
Okay.
A slot is a CR1 character, right? We can just kick him and he's dead.
Yeah, I suppose it depends on what kind of creature, what kind of slot. All right, so now
Yeah.
let's
Oh,
enter
I
the...
remember them now. Yeah. The creature. Just try to pull up my D&D.
Wait, a
knowledge.
slot? Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
it clicked. I'm
Yeah.
like, a slot? Really? We fought one of the. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they have different colors,
me.
right?
Yeah, they almost killed me. We fought
Yeah.
a death slot, Kirk.
I don't recall these things.
I do.
It's been 10 years, man. Get over it. Oh, yay, I get to go last. Woohoo. Well, last before all the crap happens, but yeah.
Huh?
Alrighty.
You have it backwards. It goes from highest to lowest in this system, Kirk.
Okay, cool. Oh, it does?
It does.
Oh. I thought you were just messing
you're-
with me. I'm like,
No, it
okay.
really does.
It really does. You're first.
Okay. Wow.
All
All
right.
right.
So as mentioned, Zaniel, you take us away at the top of the round.
Okay, so just want to recap the scenario a little bit. A whole bunch of people stood up all over the place. They have a gripe with Cyrus. People started blasting.
They seem to have a
And-
gripe with Cyrus anyways.
Okay, and the guy that had the gripe directed his thugs to start shooting.
He told his men to start shooting, but he then explicitly said, not at him, at them. So he pointed at Cyrus when he said, not at him, and then he pointed at the other thugs that were in the room that stood up along with the first set and pointed their weapons at that first set. Right? His men were basically trying to subtly move themselves into better positions while this guy at the center was pulling attention to himself. And
Yeah.
as soon as shit went down, he told his guys, all right, time to fight. So
Cool.
the bullets are going in multiple different directions at this point.
All right. Let me see. What would Zaniel do? I don't have my what would Zaniel do button on right now, so
A bunch of bracelet.
yeah.
Your pin? Your bumper sticker.
Okay, I think I know what I would do. Cyrus, whatever this problem is, it's not mine. And I'm going to activate boop.
All right, phase sprint. You can run up to a very long distance as long as you take no other actions. So what's the plan?
So basically, I'm using it to become partially phased.
You are partially phased and some attacks pass through you harmlessly. No. Let's see here. Gain an asset to your speed defense task, but you lose any benefit from armor you wear. Okay.
Now, I do also have an armor that isn't like physical armor. It's like any armor.
Mhm.
It's just, yeah, this guy. So, but basically, I'm just kind of like ducking out and kind of observing because this ain't my problem.
Okay. Gain an asset to your speed defense tasks. So that's basically easing it by 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
So basically,
Just
triggering
moving
that.
so fast.
That's the only thing I can do. And then I basically want to maneuver my way, or maneuver my myself in a way to kind of get out of fire area.
Okay. So where is it in the bar that you'd like to go? I'll give you 3 different options based on the fact that basically you can run anywhere in this bar. You can try and go back the way you came towards the entrance. You know that there are more thugs in that direction because you walked past them on the way in, but they might not. They'd probably be alert enough to stop you from just leaving, but not necessarily alert enough to actually get you before you got to a point where you're like behind them or snugged into a corner or something. You could go to the other end of the bar where you can see, just sort of tucked out of view. There's the vats and distills that the various alcohols are being, created in and stored in. And then you can go off to one side where you can see the long, large bar section is, and with multiple different bartenders behind it. You could probably get in behind that area as well.
Is there an open chair by the bar?
The bar isn't set up for sitting at.
Okay.
It's set up explicitly for going up to grabbing something and go back to your your table.
And the vat area looks kind of clearish.
Yeah, it's got sort of a 3/4 wall that's blocking some of it off from view, but you're not seeing much happening behind there at the moment.
Okay. I want to move towards the vats and basically just stand in a spot where I can kind of hold my staff up and watch shit go down.
All right. You make it behind there, and I will describe what happens when you get there at the end of the round.
Yep, no problem.
All right, let's move on to you, Kale.
Sorry, guys. Bye.
What are you thinking there, Kale?
I think
you
that
sad Zaniel left him.
see ya. Kale is gonna watch this sort of like this battle ensue, and he's gonna think back to his magical roots, and he's like, Cyrus, this is a perfect time for me to practice my magic. I call upon the teachings of Jack. And he's going to use this. This push on the instigator of all of this, and sort of like use a force around him and just,
Let's see. So quickly read it out to us then.
You telekinetically push a creature or object an immediate distance in any direction you wish. You must be able to see the target, which must be your size or smaller. Must not be affixed to anything and must be within short range. The push is quick and the force is too crude to be manipulated.
For example, you can't use his ability to pull a lever or close a door. All right. So it's just basically you're trying to give somebody a real hard push real fast from a distance. So this specifically talks about pushing a creature or an object.
Right.
Are you trying to push more than one? I might allow it if you spend some effort on it.
I think I'd be willing to do that.
All right. I'll say for each additional person you want to push, go up a level in terms of effort. So 3 for the first additional person, 2 for the next, and so on.
Right. Okay.
So how many people would you like to try and push all at once?
I'm wondering if I could do 3.
3? Okay. So that's
all,
3, 4,
all
5,
around
6,
the
7.
instigator. Yeah.
Okay. So it has a cost of 2 already, so that's a total cost of 9.
I've an edge of 2.
Mm-hmm. So that would make your total cost 7.
Okay.
Costly.
And then you can see if you calling upon the knowledge you've gleaned from Jack might
I could probably use magic
help
training.
there.
Jack's know-how.
Well, remember, you have that one item. Do you know how to use that item?
Oh yeah, yes. How do I?
So you see that little lightning bolt beside its name there? That's the depletion roll button. So if you
Okay.
click that, it'll roll to deplete, and then you can follow the rules that are written there. So you roll depletion. So that means that your effort here actually costs you double.
Ah,
So,
I'll let you change your mind on how many targets you want to push, though.
I just wanted
maybe-
to jump in real quick with the effort, because I think how we were doing it is like the initial cost is reduced, and then when you spend effort, that first effort is also reduced by the edge. So it would only cost 5 altogether, right?
Each time you withdraw points from the pool. But yeah, we can do it like that. I can be a generous god.
I'm
So
not.
I think that
I'm
makes
not-
sense. So we'll
I don't
put that 2 against your edge. And then, so you wanted to push 3 people, so that would have been 7 altogether. So we'll count the edge again, so that'd be 5. So the cost would be 10 if it's doubled in order to deal with Jack's Book of Tricks being depleted on this use.
right.
Or, like I said, I will let you change your mind this one time only as we're getting into things.
No, I'll stick with it.
All right. Then 10 points out of your pool, and tell me where exactly you're trying to push them.
Pool. I want to push them like so they lose their footing.
He wants to prone them. From the
I'm wondering if I can like push them a little like upwards slightly.
Okay.
Like, give them a little up.
Give them sort of an uppercut.
Yeah, because legs start swinging and then you might lose your footing. I don't know.
All right. Are you trying to push them into somebody else?
If anyone happens to be behind them, maybe, but I'm just pushing them backwards.
Okay. Then I am going to roll a d2. If we roll a 1, there's somebody behind them that they land on, and they both get it. If we roll a 2, then there's nobody. Here we go.
Okay.
Too bad.
Oh well, it is what it is.
Your luck has not been too great so far, but that can change. The 3 thugs get slammed upwards and backwards by your magical energy. There's sort of a thrill and also a sort of burning sensation along your spine as you use the magic. And one of the words in Jack's book gets burnt into your head. The word is skull. From now on, whenever you're thinking a sentence, you might have the word skull just be in there. Whether you say it or not, it's something that just you have to like deal with. No, I didn't mean skull.
Now, Kale, I don't know if you remember this. Her name was Natasha, the one who taught you magic, not Jack. I don't know who this Jack fella is.
It's the the book I've been reading. Yeah. Sorry.
Good work, though.
The thugs slam down onto their backs, and their heads crack against the back of the bar's wooden floor, and you can see that they're probably not getting back up. All right,
Awesome.
Cyrus.
Okay. A quick question about how fighting works in this. How is there non-lethal rules? Assumably not my gun, but pretty much the whole answer depends what weapon I'm using, probably.
It'll depend on how you go about it. I mean, you could swing your gun at somebody like a bat and do them some damage non-lethally, in that, blunt force trauma isn't always lethal. But you can't explicitly try and use an ability that would normally be lethal and then say, oh, but this time it deals non-lethal damage.
Gotcha. That's what I figured, but double checking is always the best play.
You
Okay.
can stab somebody in the leg non-lethally as long as you avoid an artery, but you can't stab somebody in the head non-lethally.
Right.
Transorbital lobotomy.
You would have to be doing it very carefully.
precise, yeah. But
It might increase the
you can.
difficulty a bit.
but you can.
I'll accept that.
All right then. I suppose I would like to start by shouting, all right, do what you gotta do, get out of the mix, boys. Try not to kill the one with the coin. I'm interested to hear what he has to say once we got him hog-tied. And then immediately after saying that, I choose to shoot the one with the coin.
All right.
I don't think he'll die in one shot.
All right. So the one who was flipping the coin amongst his fingers, beside the big reptilian guy.
Yeah.
All right. So he dodged under a table, so he's going to be a little harder to hit, but you could definitely try for him. Let's have your difficulty. This is a speed, and difficulty is set at 5.
Okay. So I have shooting, so that's 1 automatic easing. We agree?
Mm-hmm.
I have an edge of 3 in speed, so I'm gonna use that to automatically ease it another step.
All right.
And I will also pay another. I'll pay another 2 to ease it past that as well.
All right.
So 3 levels of easing. Total.
All right. Difficulty 2. Wow.
I choose not to proc the special ability on my weapon.
I was
All
about
right.
to say.
Yeah, you probably don't get to talk to him if you do.
But I will. Let's see. Does the sheet that you gave us that teaches us about the cipher system tell us about the major?
Yeah, so a major effect can be something you negotiate with me.
Okay.
You can say it does this instead of that, or you can just take the +4 damage. You don't have to have my approval for the +4 damage. You can just say, I want it.
Right.
If you want to negotiate something, then you have to try and convince me of it.
Fair enough. No, I'll just take the +4 damage, I think.
All right.
And the
I
damage
will.
on that is 6 to begin with, so I hope he doesn't have 10 or less health. He definitely has 10 or less health. Hopefully his armor soaks enough.
Who says he has armor?
I'm too good at killing. I can't help it.
Is he wearing armor, Thomas?
Yeah, okay. How about
the guy?
how about this? How about instead of taking the
Killed a
+4
man
damage,
over a coin.
instead of taking the +4 damage, what I do is I realize that it could actually be a bad idea to hit this guy. Maybe there's like a sign or a screen mounted above the table, and I shoot that down so that the table falls on top of him. If he takes less damage as a result, that's fine.
You wanted to slam down on top of him specifically, or on top of the table?
Well, yeah, to slam down on top of the table so that hopefully the table continues to slam on top of him.
All right.
Hopefully not killing him, but
You're no better than the
Well-
guy who killed people for a cup, dude.
Well, worst case scenario, we could still talk to him once he's dead.
that is true, actually.
We'll see
but-
if they will let me.
All right, so major effect is that you've decided to change at the last minute your target. And instead of aiming to pierce through this guy with your laser beam, you're going to go for something that's hanging above.
Yeah, if you'll allow it. I know that sounds a little... I might have done my job a little too well here.
I'll allow it. It's a natural 20. You ought to get some leeway. You find a fixture on the roof. It's holding some lights. You figure that looks pretty heavy, actually. Even as you're lining up the shot on this guy, you think, this is a laser beam. I don't think you survived getting shot by a laser beam. And I do want to talk to him. And at the last moment, and your shot rings true, goes right through the support on this heavy fixture, and the fixture slams down in the midst of the reptilian creature, in the midst of the other, probably fairly important people at this bigger, higher table, and down, crushing the legs and slamming the table right down onto the back of the person that just threw themselves under it. You hear a from underneath, in amongst the noise of all the firing. And the table collapses and probably pins him down there. It looks pretty heavy. The reptilian creature who is sitting at it has one edge of the table slammed down on his legs, which doesn't seem to inconvenience him at all. He pushes the table off of his legs in sort of like a very absent-minded sort of way, and the thick, heavy wood of the table shifts easily under his touch. And he stands up, and he looks at you. It's hard to read an expression on that face. It doesn't look pleased.
But for the record, you were just part of the crossfire. I didn't mean to... Hey, I know it's neutral ground. They started it.
I don't think talking fast is going to help.
We could settle down and talk slow.
Themrir.
Well, I really didn't want to get into a fight today. Can I... there's a group that's like right in front or behind me, whatever this is considered. I have a move called Erase Memories. I want to make them go, and they were fun. What the? I had a beer, I want them not have any idea what's going on, and just maybe even get afraid of the whatever's going on. But we'll see.
Which creature do you want to try and do this to?
Can I attempt to get all of them, or like the ones that are like above me on the map up here?
I will inflict a difficulty per thug that you want to try and do this to. So if you want to do it to 5, the difficulty will be 5. If you want to do it to 8, it'll be 8.
Five and 5, huh? I think I could take that. Okay. Yeah, I'll try for 5.
All right. Do you have anything that you'd like to try and use to ease the difficulty?
I don't think I have anything specifically.
All right. Do you want to spend any effort on it?
Yeah, let me spend an effort.
All right, so that costs... I think you have your 3 in... You have a 3 edge in intellect, is that right?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, so that's free. And then you want to spend 1 effort, so we'll call that free as well then.
Okay. Does that bring this down to a 4 then?
To a 4.
Okay. And effort to roll is...
So it would be difficulty 5, effort 1, or difficulty 4, effort 0.
Okay. Just making sure. I'm still learning this system. Well, that's a success.
That does it.
Very cool.
4 of the thugs, who were all starting to turn to train their weapons towards you, suddenly blink and look down at the weapons in their hand and look around the room. You can see their brows furrow. Depending on what kind of race they are, if they even have a brow, you can see that happening. For those that don't, they just sort of look flustered and confused. And they start turning to others around them. What the hell? And the others around them give them a weird look. And there's obviously a little bit of confusion as a result. I'm going to say that those 4 are out of the fight, at least for now, as they try and catch up to what the hell is happening.
Yeah. Can I?
Why are we fighting on neutral ground?
Can I move as well, or is that not part of the action pool that I have?
It is either or.
Okay.
But you can take like a quick step to the side kind of thing. Yeah, 5 feet in any direction kind of thing.
I was going to say all I want to do is move behind where Cyrus is because he has gun. But if
between the thugs, or
the
other side,
down to here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Like it's not really, like I said, it's not really representing 5 feet, but you can say that you take a quick sort of step behind Cyrus.
Okay. And then I guess I would whisper as I'm doing that. Like I take the step and I wave at the guys and erase their memory. Cyrus, the men on the left, they've been charmed.
All right. Leave the ones on the left. At least till the veil's pulled back.
All right. Oh, that's not what I wanted to have happen.
And then I pass the puck to the thugs.
All right. The first group of thugs is going to be this one here. And that one there has 9 individuals who are still ready and in the fight. And they are responding to the original order at the beginning of this round to just basically keep an eye on the first group of people who stood up. So they're firing in a bunch of different directions. So only some of them end up turning their weapons towards one of you. And I'll roll for myself. Cyrus, you are the one that they target. The difficulty will be 5 against your speed.
Okay. And so this is a defense roll then.
That's right.
All right. Don't think I have anything to make defense against speed any better, aside from my edge, my natural easing. So I'll ease it down to 4.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens. I fail.
Ooh.
Badly.
Gym intrusion.
Oh my.
This is what happens when you ask to be worse in a game, Thomas.
Hey, man. Sometimes you get the 20s, sometimes you get the 1s. What are you going to do?
The group of thugs is basically spraying and praying at this point, just pointing in a direction since they're not sure who is fighting who exactly. Who am I supposed to be pointing this weapon at? The 4 of them that are pointing in your direction do manage to hit you and sort of dot the area around you as well as you try and spin away from the bullets. So I want you to deplete your speed pool by 4.
Does my armor factor into this at all?
It does.
Okay, so I have
You subtract 1 immediately. Or 2.
So yeah, I
much
also
armor you
have a
have.
resilience perk that allows me to negate 1 as well. So I will make that 2 to my speed, you said?
That's right.
Okay.
And here's the intrusion, which you may spend an XP to resist.
If I would like.
The Slad, having had his table slammed down on him, in the midst, and now that you've kind of made a bit of a mess of his restaurant, of his bar, points at you. I want him badly mangled. Bring him to me when he is no longer walking.
So presumably, if I spend my experience, they won't be hard targeting me, is
Right.
what I'm hearing. No, I'll let that one lie. That just makes sense to me.
All right, 1 experience for yourself, and then 1 experience to pass out to somebody.
Also, the less they're aiming at my crew, the better. So, let's see. Well, it's definitely not going to be Zaniel. That guy's a jerk. I think in this instance, I'm going to give it to Kale.
All right. Take that out, take that in. So, Kale, add an XP to your sheets.
Gladly.
Remember, Kale gets all bonus XP.
Get rid of that one and that one, 'cause it's
Whoa.
going to calculate it wrong.
I suddenly feel more experienced.
You've been through something.
I know Kung Fu.
I feel the magic surging through me.
That group of thugs is done. Another set, I'm going to say it's this one over here, is pointing their weapons around the room. They're going to split their attention in two directions. And Kale, you're getting the first set with a difficulty of 9. So that's against your speed.
I could take it.
So do you have anything that would let you ease that? Or perhaps evade it?
I have... none of my stuff looks much too good for any of that.
All right. XP can be used to do rerolls. Right, so if you're like, oh, I didn't roll very well, I want to try again.
Okay.
I will also
Noted.
say, though, that 9 is nigh unbeatable without easing. It actually is unbeatable without easing.
Yep.
By much.
It's almost unbeatable, isn't it? Yeah, 9 times 3 is 27. Yeah, you can't
without
beat it.
easing, it's marginal.
Remember, though, that as these are mooks, basically, each of them is only worth 1 damage.
Right.
In different circumstances, you'd be in a much worse spot.
Mm-hmm.
And I will count whatever you do get against the total number that hits you.
Okay. Yeah. This will be great.
You can spend effort to further ease it, however. Right? You
Well, I
can
have an
start
edge
saying,
in my speed, so does that help?
it does. So remember, your first easing, first set of effort will cost you 3. So if you have 1 edge there, it only costs you 2. And that decreases the difficulty by 1.
Okay. Putting it at what then? At
24?
24? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the difficulty would be 8 in that case, right? So you take 1 off. You take 2 points out of your speed pool.
Right. 2 points out of my speed pool makes 11. And so the difficulty is what again?
8.
8.
Mhm.
Okay. I'll put an effort in.
That's what you just did.
Oh, okay. So
Good
then
job.
I put 1 effort to roll then for that. Sorry,
If you put in
at
8, then you don't need to put any effort in.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No problem. It's a little complicated.
Oh dear.
It's a
Low
new
roll.
system.
Each difficulty 1. Okay, so 7 of them end up managing to pepper you with a variety of weapons. It's actually interesting just how many different kinds of projectiles end up heading towards you. There's traditional bullets, like you might have been familiar with. There's these little stinging fireball pellets that it feels like you're getting, hit by BBs that are on fire. There's even somebody who's using like an overhead shot, and they just get slammed in the back by a big chunk of rock. But altogether, it hurts. I want you to subtract 7 from your speed pool.
Do you have any armor?
It
It would be on the right side of your... No, unfortunately.
On the right side.
No, you do not.
Mm-mm. It is what it is.
The rest of that group of thugs is turning towards Themrir as the other one nearest to them, and they are doing much the same. So Themrir, same situation for you.
Okay. I don't have any reactions that can do anything against a direct attack against me. So, I guess I have to figure out how to soak it.
And so as before, this is going to be going against your speed.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to spend effort, you can ease it.
I would like to try. I would like
You
to
can
spend
also-
an effort to ease it.
Okay. then whatever your discount is, take that off. The first effort is always worth 3. So subtract 3 minus your discount from your speed pool, and eases the difficulty down by 1. And then you can roll against it.
Sorry, say that again. I don't have any edge on my speed pool, so I don't think it's
okay. So if you have no edge at all, then there's no discount on the cost. So it would be 3 out of your pool. I'm going to say right now that you might actually be better not easing these particular rolls, because each of the damages is just 1. So even if you took the damage,
true.
Probably end up being
I might as well.
Actually, Kale, because that occurs to me just now, I'm going to give you 1 point back into your speed pool to recompense you for the 2 that you spent. You really should have just taken 1 there instead of trying to ease the roll.
It's a
Chris
mathematically
giveth and
complex
taketh
system.
away.
Yeah.
So you might as well. Okay, difficulty for this is
9.
well,
Okay. Oh, another low roll.
Same roll.
correct.
Yeah. So it takes 1 off. So again, all kinds of stinging pellets, all kinds of bullets, anything that's moving fast and deals damage. You take some blunt damage to the carapace. You feel like one of your very tightly bound ribs give way underneath of something hitting it hard. And otherwise, you can look down and see some holes that don't bleed. So you take 8 out of your speed pool.
Does my armor soak it?
It does, if you have any.
Okay. Good.
And so you subtract your armor straight off of whatever the damage would have been.
Presumably, Chris, if our armor won't soak, you'll just tell us.
I will.
Okay.
Yeah, you can always assume that your armor soaks it when I say damage, unless I say otherwise.
Well, Kirk, Themrir has dragon scale armor.
Wait, like he's wearing it over his scales, or
this is so don't worry
confusing.
about it. Don't worry about it. All you need to know is I'm okay.
Right. And then we
The third group of thugs is the bunch that first stood up when the fellow slammed the table and looked at Cyrus. And this group does not seem interested in Cyrus at all, despite the original apparently antagonistic attitude of their leader. They start firing at the other thugs.
I was
So
actually having a feeling that maybe I fucked up.
these things happen. Let's see here. So we're going to do 9, 9, 20.
Yeah, Thomas, you
Okay.
didn't kill that guy and you ruined the rest of the game for us.
No.
He had a coin. It was obvious.
We'll talk later. We're fighting right now.
All right. So they managed to spray enough of the thugs that 4 more of them go down. I'm going to take them out of this group here. While they duck around corners and try and draw attention away from the group at the middle, it seems, because they start shouting and hollering and just making a real nuisance of themselves. And they do draw the attention of the thugs towards them. There's a lot of different things going on here as we enter into round 2. And I'm going to describe, as I promised for Zaniel, what he sees. Zaniel, you've managed to make it back around to this area where all of the alcohol is getting made. And it's not as quiet back here as you had been hoping, because for some reason there seems to be this great big bull man just hanging out back here. He seems to have some problem with this weird, serious looking dude. He's just got his arms crossed, his brow furrowed. Seems really intense. It's just the feeling that you're getting out of him. And the guy facing him is bigger than him, but you just get this feeling that size isn't what's going to matter here. Let me set the thug into place. So we got our great big Minotaur guy. He is thug we've got Task standing here. Task, I'm going to insert you at this point in the round, so I'd like you to select your token and then click initiative.
So would I be closer to them to where I position myself? I wasn't too sure where to kind of position myself.
Let me drag you appropriately. Zaniel.
Wasn't sure if I went to the left or the right, or I went upside down. And
I'm going to say that you brought yourself to the safest possible place relative to where all the action is going down.
Off the board.
Yes. Behind the turn order. Nice. You can't see me, guys.
We'll never find him there.
He cast pass without trace. No.
It gives you a very good view on this Minotaur slowly scraping his way against the bottom of the wooden floors and lowering his head.
And I can see the other fight happening too, right?
Oh yeah, over the 3/4 wall. Bullets are still whizzing past. You see a few of them slam into the casks of alcohol and start leaking thin traces of the alcohol onto the floors.
Cool.
GM, is Task aware of the presence of Zaniel or no?
I think, Task, that yes, you are aware that somebody else has quickly zipped in behind the 3/4 wall here. Although he moved very fast, it's not too fast for your senses to be able to perceive him and to follow his movements.
Right, and Zaniel's not invisible, right? Like he's just like almost like transparent.
It's more along the lines of that he can kind of be out of the way of things. He's sort of phased out, but he's definitely still physically reflecting light.
Yeah, and I feel like the phasing only happens when I'm moving because it only lasts a single action.
Uh-huh.
Right.
So like once I stop moving, I kind of face back into this material plane.
It's kind of like being fast enough to dodge bullets as opposed to not actually being there.
He's vibrating his molecules so fast.
No, we're not pulling the Flash universe here. Sorry.
Vibrating so fast, it makes a sound.
Oh.
All right, Task. I'm going to actually insert you here at the top of round 2. So there is a nasty big thug facing you.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't seem like he's backing down.
Do I have any idea of his molecular composition?
Let's have an intellect roll from you.
Okay.
Can I see what this guy is made of? You sure can. Give me a sec.
Meat.
The difficulty roll will be 4.
Okay. It's not super relevant to Task, so I'm not going to bother with any effort. We'll just see how it plays out.
Just see if it happens to spark a neuron somewhere.
Yeah, you haven't turned on your empathy brain anymore. It's still off.
I
still have my empathy compartment turned off. Yes, this is true. That's why I'm not really too concerned with this guy.
You don't know what his molecular composition is like. He could be, solid as the mountains, or he could be as thin as tissue paper. Either way, you're not too worried about it.
I was hoping to get a read on his bone mass and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Could he survive a punch from you? Not many things do.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, Task just looks at him as best he can straight in the eyes and just says, "Your intent seems to be hostile. Regrettably, you will not survive this encounter, but I will give you 5 seconds to back off. I only asked you one question."
The thug makes it clear that he's about to attack.
Okay. Do I have initiative over him?
You do.
Then I slam into him.
All right.
My intent is to kill.
Might. Difficulty 2. He's right there in front of you.
Okay.
In fact, difficulty 1. He's big.
Okay.
Difficulty Task.
Yeah.
You complete it.
Well, I guess we're meeting Task while he's covered in Minotaur viscera.
Worst ways to meet somebody.
So I just need to clarify this. So if I put 2 effort into this, my edge is 2, so it would be free, or am I misunderstanding completely?
Yeah, effort is every step of effort reduces the difficulty by 1. So you'd be trying to reduce it to -1 in that case, which isn't a thing. Right? You could reduce it to 0 by
Yeah.
putting 1 effort in.
Yeah.
And 1 effort costs you 3 points.
And then the edge of 2 would subtract that cost down to 1 point.
Yeah, so
That's
if you just put in the difficulty as 1 and then select how much edge you're doing, it'll calculate how much you need to spend from your pool when you roll.
How much effort she's doing. Yeah.
I didn't have that option. I have input value difficulty, and then I hit submit, and then I have effort to roll, and that's it.
Yeah,
And then
effort to roll is the
1.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
So effort to roll in that case would be 1, but that would reduce it to 0, which means that your roll would automatically hit.
Unless
So you could just tell me that if that's what you want to do.
Well, that's what I'm doing then.
Okay. But if you were to roll it now, you would see under the roll result that it would say 3 minus 2 equals 1, and that would be what you reduce.
Yeah,
Why don't you go ahead and roll
roll
it?
to see it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ooh,
to see
got
how that
something.
plays out. Right, so the cost would be 3 minus the 2 edge you have in that pool. So you see your total cost for that pool would be 1.
Okay,
Plus,
so
you
I
got a
reduce-
17.
Nice. Plus 1 damage.
So that's what
Okay,
you're
fine.
doing?
So I reduce my might pool by 1 effectively to make the roll automatic.
Right.
So, okay, that's what I do then.
You hit him square
Mm-hmm.
in the torso.
Mhm.
You make no effort at, any particular kind of fancy strike.
Mhm.
You're just going to stop him.
Mm-hmm.
And let me take a look at your damage again to remind myself. Yes, right.
So large number plus 1.
Plus
So,
1.
Yeah.
He explodes from the collarbone out.
Right.
The ribs end up embedded partially in the kegs behind him, leaking more alcohol from them onto the floor. An unlucky goblinoid nearby manages to make a small screech just before one of the ribs drives right through him and into the wall behind him. And the others manage to duck and cover such that the various fragments of bone just sort of rain over them, along with a great deal of blood. The creature doesn't seem to recognize that it's dead for a few more steps. It sort of like slides over your fist a bit and then just sags down. There's enough middle section left to support the heavy head. So it just kind of flops down over your arm and you let it slide to the ground.
Start the speech.
Oof.
You are
He kinda-
already dead.
I think you kind of did him in. So I'm not going to bother putting him into the round order after all.
Oh, we should check to see if he's breathing.
Oop.
Yeah, the head is just lying on the ground, and it looks up at you and goes, "But how?"
Right, so you can still move 5 feet, Task, if you want, or say one sentence, and otherwise, I think you did it.
Okay.
You've solved his Minotaur puzzle.
I turn to where I think one of the goblins tucked behind something and says, "Now will you answer my question?"
Is this
Good.
before or after they shit their pants?
Long after.
They're not wearing any pants, but
Oh, no.
if they were, yeah, the floor is getting a little dirty,
Oh my god.
multiple ways.
Damn.
It's okay. We're spilling some alcohol on it. It's sterile. It'll be good.
It's sterilizing, yeah.
That's probably what's going to happen.
Okay, so then Task nods in acknowledgement. Good. And that's all he does.
All right. Then Task, I will pass it from you to Zaniel.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
So you
question.
see this happen. Task, of course you don't know his name, but this serious looking dude slams his fist with, good form into this massive guy's chest. And like you are familiar with something like this. This isn't a species exactly like the ones you had back at home, but like it had 6 horns instead of 2. Kind of weird, but like the kind of mass and power that these things have. He made it look like it was made of tissue paper. Minotaur pinata.
Where's all the candy?
I suppose it depends on what you think of as candy.
Tasty. Okay. So I figured I didn't need to worry about Mr. One Fist here. So the situation, the lizard creature. What color is he?
The lizardy creature that's down in the center, or these little ones that are around here?
The one that basically shouted out he's going to basically break every bone in Cyrus's body.
He is gray.
Gray. Now, Kirk doesn't remember this, but I think Zaniel would. What does gray signify if I were to connect this with the creature I think it is?
Let's have an intellect roll, difficulty 2. Because you are pretty familiar with this sort of thing.
Cool. Yeah, let's just roll it. Difficulty 2. Oh,
Yeah, no problem.
clutch!
It is the middle of a battle, right? Like maybe you would manage to pull this out, but you're taking it a little easy over here. You got some time to think. Like slod, right? This is a death slod, right? There's such a thing as a gray slod, and that's what its coloration would first suggest to you. And if you hadn't made the roll, I would have told you that still. But you can tell the difference in size in the colorations of certain parts of its body. This is a greater kind of slod than the standard gray slod, one that has specialized in various kinds of magics and whose touch can cause horrific festering wounds. At least it could back where you came from.
Yeah. How big are they?
Oh, pretty big. Bigger than a human. It's definitely broader. They have arms that are long enough to reach down to their mid calves, and they have long legs as well. They have squat bodies, and they have sort of reptilian, snapping turtle kind of heads and mouths.
Okay, so you would say it's not the same size or smaller than me. It's a large creature.
It's definitely bigger than you.
Damn it. Okay. There goes my super awesome way of doing things.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's all right. Ooh, I do have that.
He then proceeds to not tell us.
No. I was just making sure I could actually do it.
Just wanted to draw out the suspense.
Let the man cook.
Okay, so recognizing this creature, I want to use this, and I do have an edge of 1, so it's free.
Mm-hmm.
And I can use it as long as I can move a long distance, as part of another action, basically for free. And then the action I want to do is this. So let me explain a little bit. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to quickly get up behind the slad and start kind of like intimidating them a little bit with the knowledge I have of my own personal experience of losing abilities, and if they're from the same location as I am, knowing what I know. And if you'd allow me to do that, then I would do that in character, is to chat.
Okay. I will allow it, but you must fit the entire contents of what it is you're trying to accomplish inside of 2 sentences. I did not run on sentences.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Get rid of all punctuation. Go.
No periods. Period. Tickle him. And he didn't state his name or anything, right?
You heard Crawford call him Shamid.
Shamid? Okay. Shamid, you and I both know how weak you are here.
The slot stiffens up when it hears your voice suddenly behind him.
Unless you want to experience what I've seen once more, you will stand down.
Okay. I'm going to have you make an intellect roll to see whether or not your words really strike home on him.
Cool.
And difficulty is 5.
5. Okay. Let's see what I got. Okay, yeah, so those actions didn't cost me anything. So, yeah, difficulty 5, he said. I'm going to ease that by 2, or put 2 effort into it.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, no, I don't have any skills up. Okay.
Okay.
Yosh.
There you go. It's a cost of 3 from your pool.
Yep, that's fine.
The slad's long clawed hands curl in on themselves as you speak, as though he were thinking of sudden violence. And then some sort of recognition comes over him as he looks at your group, as he recognizes your voice, maybe? At least as he hears your words, and his hands sort of relax again. You make a compelling argument. Well, let's say that I let you and your little group walk out. How am I going to be recompensed for all this damage? I shall have to extract it from this poor sod's hide, I suppose. And the slod casually kicks the heavy piece of wood from off the cowering figure below it. You can see the fellow there sort of curled up in pain. He reaches back. Oh, gosh. Ow. And he looks up at the splintering wood that's sort of tumbling down, and around him, and the tabletop flipping over itself as it goes across the room and slams against another wall. That's a lot of physical strength this thing just exhibited. I guess you're not too happy with me right now. Can't say I blame you.
And then after I kind of do my thing, I kind of back up a little bit, like I was kind of whispering to him in his ear, but when he looks at me, I'm like 10 feet away. Mystical.
Yeah, fast moving. All right. So I'm going to briefly interrupt combat here, and we'll see whether or not we have to enter back in or not.
Cool.
We'll hold on to this spot in the turn order.
I'm glad I took that.
The slod straightens up again, sort of twists itself out and gives like a little reptilian shake down its spine, as though it were settling itself back into a different posture. Very well. And he goes over and reaches down and picks up Crawford by the back of his clothing. You see the claws digging in underneath of the cloth. We were talking business, weren't we? A tribute. Perhaps I'll start with you then. But I need you to sign in blood. Away your cell block. And he gives the man a shove to his feet. Just a little bit at a time, of course. And the man stumbles forward, and looking crushed and defeated, he sort of waves his men down as they get ready to return to fighting. You know I can't do that, but I can forfeit my life and the life of my men here. It's got to be enough. Really, Crawford, it's barely a pittance compared to what I was looking for. And now I have all this damage to be recompensed for. Besides, my establishment's reputation is considerable. This is supposed to be neutral ground. No, it won't be enough. Sign in blood. They've made you responsible for them, haven't you? Take it. Sign. Or else. And the man looks down at the sheet of silvery paper. Zaniel, Themrir, you recognize this as the source of parchment that's made of skin.
Ew.
And is generally used by creatures of other planes to create binding contracts that have magical enforcement. Exactly how useful that would be here, you're not certain, but it's clear that the Slod thinks it'll do something useful.
Intent is important.
I don't see why I should. You're just going to kill me anyways. True. But I'll make it quick. If you don't sign immediately, well, I'll leave you with one arm and an eye.
Perhaps
and
I can...
The other men will go first, of course. And the Slod looks back to you. Again. I'm listening.
You're so proud to keep this as neutral ground. Then leave it as such. If you want a cleanup party, fine. There's enough people around to do so. You and I both know your magic doesn't work here.
The Slod looks at you, and the bottom jaw sort of drops down to reveal the multiple rows of teeth. And you recognize this as the Sloddy interpretation of a smile. Oh, I do recognize you. You're... what was it? Team something or other. Acer. It's Acerak. Yes. I was watching in between various enterprises of my own. Very entertaining. You are an impressive individual. Oh, you were. So your magic isn't working. Things are different in this reality. And I made it here. I had to learn it all over again. But blood magic still works, Druid. I could teach you how, if you were interested. This universe does have its own magic. Just stop interfering in my business, and I'll be happy to make a deal.
You can continue your business, but I'm sure that Cyrus character I came in with may want to chat with this guy before you break his bones.
Not too bad. I have need of him. Now, I'll be taking him to sign. And the guy who is in the clutch of the Slod sort of looks back, twists his head as far as he can so they can look towards Cyrus. Duke, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it to play out like this, but I really need your help. This was supposed to go a lot smoother. Please?
Oh, you are the first person in this godforsaken hole who knew the magic word. All right, Toadskin, what is his debt tier anyway? Why does he have to sign this paper? Come on. If we're doing talks, we may as well talk. You know what I'm saying?
He owes many sustenance tickets. I believe he's been using them to feed cell block something. Doesn't even matter. So many mouths, so little resources. I was willing to gift him some of the water that we use for creating our product, depriving myself in the meantime. And all I asked was that he relieve himself of a few useless mouths. But now, of course, the deal has to change. I can't go around letting people know that my bar is not as safe as it ought to be. I'm afraid the price must be much higher.
The bar looks pretty safe to me, actually. If I'm counting, the only person that's taken a casualty so far is... And Cyrus kind of ekes to the side a little bit so he can see around him and see the pile of viscera on the other side of the bar that Task has left.
Oh, you can see that?
Maybe.
It is kind of a big splash.
Yeah.
It's
There's
everywhere.
only a 3/4 wall.
Oh my god.
And, I mean, that could always be
It's everywhere.
chalked up
Mopped
to a
up.
workplace accident, you know? It seems to me the bar is a pretty safe place.
You're not convincing me as to why I should be letting this fool off the hook.
Well, clearly you run a business. You know that if you make this guy, you know, not want to continue to deal with you, it's not going to pay off dividends in the long run. Now, if you keep him under your thumb for a good 5-6 years, it'll pay back in triple than what it'll take to get rid of half of his cell block. What are you even going to do with the bodies, anyways?
I can tell you're from one of the nicer realities. He's naive, isn't he, Druid? The bodies are useful. They have blood in them. They live. At least for now. But I'll tell you what. I am a businessman. And a business needs work done. Take on this fool's debt and do me a favor, and you can have him.
And he won't have to sign the contract. That would be a pretty crucial part of the deal for me.
No debt, no contract.
Is it the sustenance tickets that you're requiring?
No. I gain my sustenance ounce-wise, and I have an arrangement with some of the suppliers. It turns out that the various refugee shelters don't need all that food and water. Some of it can be redirected rather more profitably. No, I want blood, but I won't require you to give me yours. All you have to do is eliminate some obstacles to obtaining a more steady supply.
Done.
That
was a fast agreement.
I don't know that that's exactly done.
GM, can Task hear this, overhear this entire conversation?
Oh yes.
Okay.
And the whole place is hushed as everyone waits to see are they going to start shooting again or not.
Right.
Just basically the only other sounds are the creakings of leather, people shifting positions on the wooden floor, flexing their hands on their guns, maybe the occasional clank of metal.
Right. Okay, well then Task would just cross his arms and kind of just watch it, but he has no context for who's in the right or anything, so.
I will mention to you that the little box that you placed in your pocket has been vibrating this whole time.
Oh, so that's what that was.
Okay, so
in
he is
that
wearing
case-
clothes.
Oh, in that case, Task pulls out the box. feeling it vibrate.
I will mention to you that it's probably smaller than you imagine. It can fit comfortably in the palm of your hand.
Yeah, so it's it's fruit sized,
Mhm.
whatever. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, gotcha.
It swivels its main eye to look at you,
Mhm.
and sort of just like gently vibrates in your hand, but does nothing otherwise.
Do I have time to ask it a question, GM?
Yep.
Strange box. There seems to be two sides to this conflict. Which side is in the right? No, it has to be yes or no answer. It has to be yes or no questions.
I saw a really cute trapezoid the other day.
All right, that was your question for now.
Oh no.
I understand.
That's amazing. Bob's one-liners.
All right. How about this then? Provided this gets done, your supply gets a little easier. You will stop redirecting those sustenance tickets that are meant to be going to the refugee shelters.
The creature looks at you and sort of lets its bottom jaw drop again, revealing again those rows of teeth, black edged. I think not. After all, I am running a business here. I don't need tickets, but I do need water for alcohol. How can I make it if it's all getting drunk up by useless refugees?
I'm afraid it sounds to me like our little bargain here has hit a sticking point, my friend.
Such a shame. But these things happen in business. Sometimes you don't get to see eye to eye. Isn't that right, Crawford? And he continues to drag the man. He sort of lets him slump to the floor, but still holds onto the claws and starts dragging him physically across the ground towards where he left the parchment. It seems like your savior isn't much use to anybody. Time to sign.
I try to interject again by tapping my staff on the ground a couple times.
He hears you. He doesn't seem to care.
I wasn't done.
Well, neither am I. And he throws Crawford onto the parchment. He looks at you. This will be the last time. What?
We will do what you need. You'll take his debt, and in exchange, we want information.
Do you speak for this group after all, Druid?
I speak for myself. And stop calling me Druid. Haven't used that moniker in years.
Then what should I call you?
Good question.
Very well, good question. I accept your offer. You have his debts. And I will give you the information you need in order to satisfy it. And that is all. Agreed?
Done.
Very good. See if you can convince your friends. If not, you alone will take on this task. And I will start cleaning things up. He gives the fellow on the ground a kick in the ribs that you can hear splinter some bone. And the man goes, losing all the air.
Ah, fuck this. I shoot him.
All right.
Holy shit. What, the guy that just got kicked or the sled?
The slad. I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Then I will have you. I will have you roll speed. Difficulty is only 2. He's not expecting it.
Yep.
All right. With my shooting and my edge of 3, I'm going to be easing that down to 0.
I don't even want to help, and you shoot the guy.
All right. Yep, you hit him. Too bad this wasn't the 20. That would have helped you a lot.
Yeah, that would have been so
helped me
good.
a lot. I'm done with this.
The Slod suddenly sports a new hole where he didn't have one previously. And he looks down, surprised. Clearly didn't think that this was possible. But you're bringing in something that even an out-of-towner like him has to respect. He looks back up. I see. So be it.
The easiest way to settle a debt is to get rid of a party. You wanted blood? Let's get blood.
And the fight resumes. Kale.
Cyrus, you fool. I get that out before the fight starts back up.
Do I have time just to say something to myself, Champ?
Yes. Yes, you do.
Task's empathy center is still off. So once he sees the battle resume again, he clutches his fist and says, "Battle."
I'm to murder Nate. Murder Nate all the W's.
And Task's intent, obviously, I'll wait to my turn, of course, but Task's intent will be to leap from behind the 3/4 wall and run into the middle of the fray.
All right.
Oh, now you got a hole to use the slat as a bowling ball, Nathan.
Chris, up to you if you want to take away my turn because I shot out of order. I'm fine with that.
No, I think that was just you being, taking the initiative on
A
this.
surprise round. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a little extra in there. Kale.
Okay. Kale is
So just to set the scene for you again,
Yeah.
before you go there. As soon as the Slad gets shot, all of the various thugs lift their weapons again. So it's pretty clear the fight is picking up basically exactly where it left off. Ever seen the John Wick movies where there's a
Yes.
brief pause there where people talk for a moment and they say, "So it has to be like this, does it?" Well, it didn't have to be. We could have just talked this out, John. No, we couldn't have. And then it goes back straight into it.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Okay. Cool.
And kill someone with a pencil.
Those are good movies.
That's why I should have decked Cyrus out with a pencil.
You want to see a magic trick?
There you go.
I can make this
That
pencil
was
disappear.
Ta-da.
For you. Wait.
Looking through my things, that took me by surprise. So I'm like, I will.
Cyrus is going to talk his way out of this. Fucking sick, right?
Fuck, man. I thought he was just going to talk, but then he did something super cool. And it's just making me feel so dark. And the shadows inside me, watching someone die in cold blood like that. Kale reaches deep within him where all that darkness is, and it just bursts out from his fingers out. He's like, "I call upon the darkness," and shoots out a dark matter strike
Right.
on the thugs, let's just say.
All right.
Let's see. I'm going to put that out there for everyone to read. So dark. I am
So
the
dark.
shadows.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, I say out loud, dark matter strike.
Yeah, naturally. Right, so the cost is 4, and you have an edge of 2, so it'll only cost you 2 from your pool.
Cool. So that brings me to 8.
Themrir stops whatever he's doing and just gives a...
Gives a what?
Like,
gives
child, really?
It's great. Okay, so it costs 2. Kale is the protagonist. Yeah, basically.
Obviously.
So to roll that, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the difficulty?
When you attack a foe within long range, the difficulty to hit them is just one.
The way I'm reading this is that he actually also has to do an attack move.
Easing your attack by 2 steps. Oh, I see. Attack a foe within long range, blah, 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 tangles its limbs. Right, so you're
The
actually making it
formatting is
easier to
weird.
hit them.
Oh.
Yeah, it's an enabler ability.
Oh, okay. Even better.
So I'm just going to say that whatever attack you do next is completely free for you. You definitely hit with it.
Cool.
It's just a matter of doing as much damage as you can.
Yeah, so like it cost you points, but it didn't cost you your action.
Mm-hmm.
So similar to what I did with mine, where I did the fleet of foot, and then I still was able to do the foil danger because one was an enabler, the other was an action.
Right. Let's see.
So if you have something to kill him, that'd be the time to go full protagonist on us.
Strike true.
Oh, sorry, if you are full protagonist, you can only destroy them. You can't kill them.
That would be a good one, actually.
Yeah.
That's one you were looking at here.
Kill can't be used in this.
Shatter, I would suggest.
Yeah, okay.
Forkins has not existed for like a decade. Come on.
And it cost me nothing, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'll do Shatter then. Let me post that. Interrupt the fundamental force, holding normal matter together for a moment, causing the detonation of an object I choose within long range. What's in the area of those thugs, Chris?
This is a bar, so I mean they have things like cups, and they have tables. They have guns, which are mostly made of the same sort of metal. They have bullets within those guns, which have casing that's all the same sort of metal. They're wearing things.
Can I
they have
explode
blades
the
on them.
guns in their hands?
I think you can,
Okay.
but it has to be just one. You have to choose an object. But you can choose an object from amongst the various thugs and explode it right in their midst.
Yeah, whatever object, I guess, like a table that's like around all of them, I will just absolutely send shards of those flying right at him.
Okay, so you're targeting the mooks then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can I suggest this group of 18 right here?
Group of 18?
Yeah, let's get that group of 18, Chris.
All right.
I think you're onto something.
Because
this
you
Chris
have
is smart.
entangled them, they can't escape. They can't dodge. There's no way that they can move away from the explosion you're just about to set off in their midst. The table explodes into tiny slivers of wood and spirals outwards in every direction. Now, getting a splinter is nasty, but it's not lethal. Unless the splinter is moving at an appreciable fraction of the speed of sound, which this is. It slices right through them and ends up embedding itself in the room around them. And thug after thug after thug falls to the ground with some significant portion of their body missing. And all 18 of them just slump down one after the other.
Fuck, that was so dark.
Okay, Kale. That was... Cyrus looks away.
Where did that come from?
Nicely done. Cyrus.
All right. This is going to be an amount of things, so bear with me here. Cyrus knows he is public enemy number 1. Even though it's just the slot and his few remaining thugs, he wants to get away from the rest of his crew to pull them out of fire. So the first thing he's going to do is use his first recovery, his 1-action recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Which is...
So 8 points.
Oh, perfect.
To distribute as you will. Almost max there. Very nice.
So that will actually put me to full on everything. There's no overhealing, I take it.
No.
All right. I do have an ability called... Which one is it? I believe it's this one. No. Oh, wait, it is this one.
Don't forget also to
Surging Confidence.
advance your
Yes,
counter on that.
I've done it.
Very good.
When I use an action to make my first recovery roll a day, I immediately gain another action.
Nice.
Before I use my
wow.
second action, I would actually like to, off of my recovery, I would like to use Fleet of Foot to start moving away from Kale and Themrir.
Okay.
Probably crossing in front of the second group of thugs.
Mm-hmm.
So should I just move one square, or should we interpret this as one
Or
square?
two, yeah.
Two's fine.
Yep.
I was going to proc Fleet of Foot again later off of my next action, so we'll just say 2.
Now, keep in
Okay,
mind,
fine.
short distance is technically up to 50 feet. So,
Yeah. That's why I'm saying, it could be 2, it could be, you could go right to the other side of the area here.
And then my second action is going to be to shoot at. I'm going to try to take out the remaining 5 thugs that the Slod has under his control.
All right.
So I'll make a ranged attack. What will the difficulty on that be?
The difficulty on that is just 1.
All right. And then with my natural easing from shooting, that'll take it down to 0, but I will still roll just in case of effects.
Mm-hmm.
And
I know how much damage your weapon does. So you, by repositioning yourself with just perfect accuracy, just quick-footed action, put yourself in a straight line with the rest of the thugs. They are pretty, tough-looking fellows, but nobody looks that tough after you put a hole through all of them. And they drop to their knees a smoking wreck, each and every one of them.
And then Cyrus levels his gun at the Slod and ends his turn.
Nice. Themrir? So at this point, basically the Slod is the only antagonist on one side, with the thugs belonging to Crawford on the other, and Crawford himself. And then the 4 of you and some mysterious, rather serious-looking fellow.
Covered in blood.
Covered, absolutely dripping. Actually, you're not dripping that much because, right, when you punched him, it all went back and away.
It went back and away.
It's everything around you that is covered in blood.
Or something, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of dripping down your arm. That's about it.
Yeah. And Crawford again, is on the ground, and he's sounds like he got a couple ribs cracked, right?
That's right. He's sort of just huddling in pain at the moment.
Yeah. Sorry, I know it's not my turn. I just wanted to ask that.
Can I move somewhere that will not put me in range of what a Slod can do to me? Probably not. Well, he's also most likely.
He does have a
for
big
Cyrus,
target
so-
on his chest.
He's also
which, just a
also
hole.
that.
If you're thinking about, I'm worried about what a Slod could do to me, I might be able to answer that to an intellect roll if you're thinking.
Let me remember a little bit on what a Slod can do.
So this is a gray Slod.
No, this is a death Slod.
It might be a deathy boy.
Speaking of which, let's have an intellect roll of 3 then, as you think about what exactly could he do to you. And if you have any skills that pertain to magic or religion, they might be applicable in reducing the difficulty.
Do not.
Okay.
What happened?
You rolled a
low
2,
roll.
unfortunately.
You might just think you're colorblind.
You remember vaguely what Slod kind are about. You probably have a good idea. This is probably a death Slod. Right? You managed to put that much together, but you're like, what do they do again? The truth is that they were actually pretty far below you in terms of anything you had to worry about back when you were at your peak. But that was then and this is now. Would it be a threat to you physically? Probably. Would its magic work? It seems to think that it's got something figured out, but it certainly hasn't been using any of its magic in this fight.
That's true. That's an interesting note. Okay. Is
But
that my
what
action
exactly it could do or you could do just evades you at the moment.
And I think the room was quiet enough when Zaniel and him had that chat that you could hear what Zaniel's thought process was on the whole slot situation.
Well, we're of the same mind that their magic might not work. Then, is that my action, or does that count as?
Nope. That's just you thinking about things.
Okay.
I'll let that go as.
Yeah, because I was still
kind of like your free action instead of talking.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
Oh, do I want to do this? I want to do this, and I'm not sure what it means. I'm gonna use healing pulse on
Okay.
the slud.
Okay. Interesting. All right, let's flip a coin. All right.
Okay.
The slod grips at the hole that was opened with the laser beam from Cyrus's gun with one hand and seems ready to wreak havoc with the other, but then suddenly grips at its chest as well and gives sort of a look of confusion and also pain. It's not entirely clear what has happened to it, but it doesn't seem happy as a result. And then you see it cough. And then you see it throw up blood. You can definitely tell its blood is thick, clotted blood. It's deep rust brown as it floods over his chest and down onto the ground beneath him. And he breathes hard and heavy. My power. And it sort of crumples in on itself a little bit and then straightens back up, and it looks at you as though it were pretty clear to it what must have happened. And it starts heading in your direction.
Okay.
I'm going to move to the thugs, which are on Crawford's side. And they've only got just this one guy to focus on now, so they're going to go for it. Let's see here. Pretty good. Okay. The slot is riddled with holes as it tries to make its way across the floor. Its thugs lie dead. It had a huge number of guys under its control just a little while ago, and then all of them blew up somehow. Something to do with a table exploding? And of course, then a laser beam went through the rest. And now it's all alone all of a sudden. But it still seems intent on trying to do something about that. It is bleeding, it's coughing up blood, it's got a hole in its side, and it still reaches out to attack Themrir. Themrir, this is a speed defense at difficulty 3. You are muted.
Is this an ability?
That ability it's doing? No, this is just an attack on you.
Okay, I have to double check. I have stuff. Well, this is gonna hurt. What difficulty?
3.
Okay. Can I ease it with some effort?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Speed pool. Okay. Cost is 5. You definitely beat the difficulty. And the slod
The cost is still 5?
The cost is 5, yeah, from your speed pool.
I hit 0.
Okay. We'll address that in just a moment. The slide slams its clawed hand into the ground, and you dodge just a moment ahead of it. The splinters of wood going up from where its hand landed, and then splinters of stone or concrete from beneath that as its hand digs deep inside of the ground. That impact would have hurt a lot. But then it slumps over its own hand, and it falls, and it doesn't get up again. And it bleeds out from the various holes, particularly this really big, semi-cauterized one.
Yeah.
Very cool.
The man, Crawford, comes back up to hands and knees, breathing heavily, holding onto his side. Wow. I think you saved me. And my boys.
Sorry about the table thing.
No, that's on me. I mean, it was literally on me, but... Whew.
Cyrus would like to walk over to where Crawford is, kind of motion Crawford to step a few feet back, and he wants to use his weapon to completely disintegrate that contract that's on the ground. Tie up
Goes up like flash paper. Wow.
That might be better gone.
You don't know just what you've done. Boy, I owe you.
You know what you've done?
Well, started a war. I don't think actually you guys know how bad. I just drew you all in. But I'll let you hear all about that after our break.
Oh no! We're all broken. I mean, we're on break.
All right. We will see everybody back here at 9:57.
Excellent. Sounds great.
Welcome back. Pleasure to be with you again, and I hope you're feeling the same way. We're going to get right back into it. We've got a little bit more to do before we're all allowed to head out for the night. It's been a little bit action-packed. We got a lot of dead bodies on the floor. This place has been redecorated pretty significantly at this point. Maybe not to the taste of your average bar goer. Maybe if you were into death metal. The place does no longer looks quite as crowded as before, but the crucified man is still there. In fact, maybe he won't be replaced as often as he had been up to this point, now that it's no longer being run by a death slot. In fact, now that it's no longer being run by anybody. The place has been pretty much cleared out except for the people who were loyal to Crawford. All the little goblinoids that were running the place in the back have all scampered off, as fast as they could, unless somebody tried to stop them. And Crawford, meanwhile, has slowly, painfully made his way over to a nearby table that's still more or less intact. Just a few splinters from some other exploding table. Don't know what happened there. Embedded in its surface, along with a little bit of gross viscera. And he slumps down into a chair, breathing shallowly to try and deal with the pain of his broken ribs. You guys, I'm real grateful. We all are. We kind of represent Cell Block 5, and well, we were supposed to be negotiating kind of I guess it was a way of dealing with the debt we'd incurred. We're the closest ones to this bar, and we've been relying on them for that little bit extra, Too many mouths to feed, too little food to go around. Turns out this bar was contributing to that. They're stealing our water and our food. Sell it. Didn't know that. Should have figured.
Fingers crossed that this balances things out a little bit. Hopefully not just for you guys, but for all the refugee blocks.
You've done a service for everyone, Duke. And I particularly gotta apologize, because I was trying to be all clever and subtle there. But that didn't work out. I was actually hoping you might clue in and we'd maybe sneak out of here together. I needed a little space so that we could regroup. But as it turned out, you actually exceeded my hopes. I had no reason to believe you could take this guy on.
We basically had this in the bag.
I realized at the last second that you were trying to manipulate him, which is why I ended up re-aiming my shot.
Appreciate that. Saw what you did to those other poor assholes. Don't want that pointed at me.
And Cyrus turns to Zaniel. Now, Zaniel, I'd like to start by saying thank you. You did a lot to help resolve that. And, we never really spoke on leadership of this group. I'm not claiming to take leadership. We can figure that out. But I'd like to first start by apologizing on ruining the work you did to make that happen. Unfortunately, I will not apologize for deciding he was a disgusting despot and I wanted him dead.
Zaniel thinks for a moment, trying to take in the words you're saying. Probably the most somebody's talked to him in a while. Look, I don't disagree with your actions. I was on the verge of doing it myself. Hell, if I could drop the guy from the sky, I would have done it. But you also need to be aware, and I turn my gaze to Crawford, how much you just cost us.
Not sure I follow.
We could have struck a deal. We could have got information on these murders that keep happening. This was neutral territory. Things get spoken here.
Nice.
It was a safe zone. We needed him alive. And now that lead is gone.
That is not necessarily true. I can try again.
Which is where I was about to ask. Because I have unfinished questions that need answers.
Specifically about the murders or something else? Because I'm hoping, potentially, maybe Crawford here might know this fella that we're looking for. Or maybe my gesture over at Task. This guy might know something.
Cyrus, how much do you know about the multiverse?
The concepts, mostly. The actual workings of it, not so much.
Sum it up very quickly. That death slad came for a place I'm very familiar with. He shouldn't have had abilities like he had. Like he claimed to have. And he was damn well confident enough to gloat about them.
I mean, you and Themrir still have abilities.
No. I don't have abilities. I just have a remnant of whatever's left.
Mine are specific to my gift.
I've tapped into something deeper. I could do it for you guys, I think. Whatever you could do, maybe I could do it for you. I don't know.
Cyrus, ruffles. He reaches way up to ruffle Kale's hair. That was mighty good. You're a deep well of darkness, and we may pull up a bucket from time to time.
In other news, we also have that character in the corner. Kind of signaling over to Task with his staff, just kind of like tilting a little bit towards his direction.
The man with the furrowed eyebrows and his arms crossed across his very developed chest stares at the four of you. You talk as outsiders. You are not from this reality, then.
I had noticed him when he brought death into the room as well.
No, none of us are from this reality.
You also sound like you're not either.
No, I have traveled here. Partially against my will, partially with my will. I'm looking for something. Have any of you seen anything that could be described as a medallion?
No.
I've seen plenty of things, but specifics usually lead to better answers.
GM, has Tass noticed at all the coin that Crawford is palming?
Crawford hasn't been palming it this moment because he's too busy holding his ribs together.
Right.
But you definitely do see nearby some spilled currency and things like that.
Mm.
And it's unusual, again, because everything here is sustenance tickets.
Right.
So this fellow must have somehow kept his hand on a couple of coins from wherever he was from.
Yeah.
Right. And so you see that amongst the various detritus now strewn across the floors.
Right. Task, without really thinking of the weight of his next action, pulls the box back out and says, "Is the medallion in this establishment?"
That would be what the kids call a hard pass.
Nice.
Excuse me.
I presume that means no. Thank you, box.
No can do, my dude.
We can all hear that.
Yeah, you can all hear it. It's not coming from a mouth per se. The words just sort of appear in the air.
In a big speech.
Wait, the words appear?
Not visually.
Oh, okay.
You just suddenly have the sense of the vibration of sound. But where does it come from?
And then Task thanks the box and puts it back in his pocket, without really thinking about the fact that he's talked to a box.
Mm.
And looks back at the group.
Well,
What I'm looking for is not here.
What you are looking for
not here.
is not here, but it may be here.
Hmm.
How long have you been with us?
I appeared in this reality just minutes ago. There was already a gunfight in this room when I appeared in the back. A man attacked me. I have destroyed him.
Yeah, I witnessed that.
All of this.
Well, yeah, I don't think any of my coins are magical. I mean, that would be nice. But, they're just, memories of home. I was gonna be a lieutenant in the Sky Patrol. Duke. Just got my commission when things went all to shit. But, I gotta warn you guys. Now that you've destroyed this neutral ground kind of thing going on, things are going to get a little more interesting around here. Would say whatever you will about Samid. He kept a lid on things for his own sake. I'm guessing that gangs that would normally come here and pay him dues and take his instructions are going to start being at each other's throats instead. Think you might have started a little gang war. Not that I don't appreciate it.
And Crawford, last I checked, I don't see why that's our problem.
Oh, it is now. In major philosophies, the concept of a third space exists. We, or at least Cyrus, are responsible for that removal of that third place. It is on us, or at least on him, to now make up for that, or pay for the consequences, which is what the Slud was likely also saying to you. So this trouble falls back on your shoulders, stranger.
Now, if you look at it this way, gaining wares could actually be beneficial for the sector. Less bodies to feed.
That's a good way of looking at it.
If anyone looks at Task right now, his face is twitching. Like he's not spazzing, but his eyebrows are going up and down, his eyes are flicking. I am GM. Task wants to reactivate the empathy center of his brain. There's a lot of talking, and most of this he can't understand with it off.
It's on.
It's on? Okay.
Yep.
So he twitches for a while longer and then kind of shakes his head. I understand. By killing this creature, we have eliminated a neutral space, a safe place.
And also jeopardized a
safe
realm of information.
Information. You are also looking for something.
Unfortunately.
Quiet.
I
At the
see.
moment, we're looking for a gang leader named Dane. And he when Cyrus says that, he looks at Crawford so pleadingly, hoping that Crawford has heard of this man before.
And Crawford meets your eyes. Oh, well, yeah, that's me, Dane Crawford.
God. It pays to be lucky, baby. All right. You had a fella. You had a fella with you. Do you do any raiding? Maybe a little. It's okay. I don't. If it's got what you got to do, it's what you got to do. It's fine.
This is a safe place here still.
Probably for a little while longer. Boys, keep an eye on the front door, would you?
Themrir, you and I have some unfinished business with that slat over there.
Yes.
Probably about, I don't know, 3 weeks tops. I don't know. I mean, you've probably been here about as long as me, so definitely 3 weeks tops. Y'all went on a raid. You had someone in your group, big fella, stacked, forearms. You remember this guy?
Oh, talking about Griorgi? Yeah, Griorgi we met him here. Nice fellow. I mean, for whatever he was. Not a man exactly, but, decent guy. He just disappeared about 3 or 4 days back.
You wouldn't happen to know anything about his disappearing, would you?
Well, I'm guessing that he didn't just go off and find himself someone nice. That's a shame.
Unfortunately not. He
was
find
murdered.
someone.
Murdered. Yeah. Yeah, we did some raiding, and I'm proud of it. But there's just not enough resources to go around, and we couldn't beg any more from this restaurant. Wouldn't give us anything. Let's sign the contract and gave him 10% of all the people in the building.
All right.
Yeah. The last I know of what Griorgi was doing, he wasn't feeling so well. I sent him off to the free hospital. The one the Knights Errant run, right at the edge of the north wall. Supposedly you can get treated there if something's gone wrong. I hear that Cell Block 7 runs something like that too, but you can't trust the other residences around here. Or I'll be blind. I should know.
Where do you think we come from?
Thought you said you all came from a different world. I know where the Duke came from.
We all landed in Cell Block 7.
Ah, shit. So is it true what they say? The dog there's good?
Always, and usually it looks like this.
Better than most here, yeah.
You should not judge a book by its cover.
Oh, shit.
So you just You just run with some boys from Cell Block 5, or did they put you in charge of that place already?
Well, it's kind of an informal thing, you know. It's whoever's got the willpower to get things done. I brought in a little extra food and water for people one day, and the next day they were treating me like the leader, you know? And then I kind of wanted to live up to that.
I have an inkling of what you're talking about.
Yeah, I figured you might. I mean, hell, I was kind of trying to emulate you. I seen what you done out there. Man, it would have been great if we'd ever got the Sky Patrol really going, you know? Our kingdom was going somewhere. It's going to be big.
Maybe a while till we get back there, but you never know. Either way, it looks like you're doing about as good a job as you can do given the situation.
You can do, but I've been doing a shit job. And both know our worlds ain't never coming back. We got one shipload of people out of there. Not even the best. I mean, you took me.
That's more than some places got out. I was the only one.
Oh,
Count
yeah,
yourself
shit.
lucky.
Did the Lady Blackbird, did any of my crew end up in Cell Block 5?
No, I think I would have noticed someone like Lady Blackbird. If the Queen was in the cell block, they wouldn't be listening to me.
Yeah, no offense, but that does make sense. Pretty sure if she ended up in the same cell block as me, they wouldn't be listening to me either.
What about Snargle, though?
Who is Snargle?
Your goblin friend.
Yeah.
Well, he's like a shapeshifter, right? But I'm pretty sure I would have heard. I did hear the Knights Errant talking about some unrest in a different refugee camp. You know, they're the only ones that travel between the various camps. They accompany the deliveries, but they don't talk to us. I overheard something and I got a real nasty wrap around the backside of my head for the privilege.
I'm sorry. Excuse my ignorance. I have obviously entered this conversation late. But all of you are talking about refugees and fleeing. What have you been fleeing from?
Destruction.
The end of all things.
Oblivion.
Literally.
It's kind of hard to describe, honestly.
Back where I came from, we were part of a kingdom. A smaller one, but we were up and coming. We've been putting work in.
Don't undersell it, Cyrus. We were epic.
We were pretty epic.
Doing amazing things.
Run by, one of the greatest men I've ever met. Probably the greatest, and his wife, the king and queen. They, we were invaded by, I don't know where they came from, but it was over like nothing. This man was strong. My king was, again, not just the greatest man, probably the strongest man I ever met, and he was taken out in one blow. A guy named Duke Grimm.
Duke Grimm? I know who that is.
Jurgle managed to stop him as well.
Wait, Cyrus. This guy could be dangerous. Are you friends with Duke Grimm?
No. They tried to kill me and my friends. We were stopping them from doing something. I have no idea if we were successful, but that is why I am here now.
You may not
Another
have
dead
been,
end.
Considering if all of us are here now, it's possible, based on how space and time work. It could have been before any of us done anything to try to escape our lost worlds.
Yes, my father has told me a little bit about time parallels and other dimensions.
So if Duke Grimm was unable to be stopped in yours, but able to in mine, with the only thing that took it away from me was oblivion itself.
I don't really understand all this time stuff. I'm pretty sure that Duke Grim already won, at least where I'm from. But if you stopped him, why are you here?
Because
I don't think he did stop him, man. It's hopeless. Oh.
No, it's not hopeless. Nothing is. I come from a world of superheroes. We had a school where people learning to be better than they were before.
Okay. And were you?
I was grown in a vat, designed to kill billions for no reason. I decided not to do that. Instead, I decided to protect my world. I am better than I was before.
You would have created lots of work for me. I do thank you.
Child, what do we call you?
He nods towards Zaniel. I am called Task. It is... I'm sorry, I am not very well versed in social situations. It is a pleasure to meet you. And he bows really awkwardly.
You don't need to do the pleasantries, child.
I understand.
Now, Task, do you understand exactly what you've put yourself into here?
The situation is irrelevant. I will assist as best I can.
The situation is this, as far as I'm aware. You continue jumping from place to place countless times, and each place you leave no longer exists. Keeps creeping up on you. Ever so close, but still not able to touch you. You're just out of reach. And then you do something you never thought you'd have to. And you wind up here.
Yeah, I'm...
It's only a matter of time until this place is next. If I'm here, that's inevitable.
That does sound like how we met in the first place, Zaniel. So it may not be all bad now. We are still alive. We have not yet crossed into that good night, as people say. We can still make a difference. We are making a difference.
You know, it occurs to me, back where I came from, we never really had, outside of that grim fellow at the end, never really had people showing up from other places. But seems like a lot of people from a lot of places show up here. Which means a few things. Number one, if what happened to my place happens to this place, it could be very bad. Very bad indeed. But, on the flip side of that, if a lot of places come here, here goes to a lot of places. You know, I'm not really good at this multiverse temporal jumping stuff, but play our cards right, we might find a path to somewhere a little better. Well, it wouldn't be hard to find somewhere a little better, but catch my drift. Like I said, not really my area of expertise. I'm more of a someone who pretends to be a politician.
No,
Cyrus.
You've hit the nail on the head there. You've got a good idea of how this works.
There is nothing better than this. And there is nothing out there anymore. Think of it as a bubble. It was once large. Little strands within that bubble stretching out towards the edges. And over time that bubble shrunk. Those strands disappearing one by one. Until all you have left is the center of the bubble itself. Before it finally pops.
Task again looks at Zaniel and sort of lowers his head respectfully. With all due respect, Wise One, you clearly know what you are talking about. But there is something else. When we first were pulled from our world, we were told of potentiality differences. You see, this reality and the others that my friends were brought to, it is lower on the energy potential. The world I first came from, the world I was born into, it is No offense. It is better. It is more probable. It is more stable. I seek to return to it, but I can tell you there is something better than this.
And you take me there. I'm tired. I'm tired of all this.
I understand. If I can find the thing that which I seek, I can return there.
Kale sits on something stable. You sound so hopeful, man, but I just want to go home. We got it so good. Cyrus, we had it so good.
Yeah, you need to understand. Your home doesn't exist anymore. It never did. It's just gone.
Zaniel, do not speak untruths. Your home may be gone, but it was real.
I am sorry for your loss. He looks at Kale, but obviously doesn't know your name. I am sorry for your loss, but if I find the artifact I'm looking for, there is no reason why I can't bring all of you with me.
Kale, buddy, buck up a little bit. There's a few things that can really make this have a bit of a silver lining. First of all, even if our world is gone, at least now we have met someone who could potentially put us in the right direction to get revenge for that. And even outside of that, they've been talking about time paradoxes and stuff. Now, I know you're a smart fella. You know how time works. We could just jump back before our world was destroyed. It's not destroyed anymore. So there's really no need to be sad because they're telling me that's possible. So we'll just have to figure out how to do that later. And for now, we'll worry about that revenge.
Okay.
Going forward is much easier than going back. However, it may be possible.
It's definitely possible, Kale, and we're going to figure it out later. But this revenge thing just, you know how I get. I just hate when someone wrongs me.
Look, Cyrus, I understand vengeance all too well. Mine will never be satiated, unfortunately. So I can understand that.
Guys, I don't mean to interrupt, and actually, I gotta say this is the most encouraging conversation I've heard since I got here. Talking all about magic and coming from different worlds, and it seems to me like you guys actually have what it takes to get something done. Which is, well, I'm gonna give you one secret I've been holding on to, which is that I think I figured a way out of here, out of this refugee camp. I told Georgi and I told the rest of the boys, but I just sort of dropped hints. I wanted to keep their spirits up. I didn't know if it would actually work. I don't think I could pull it off, but I think you guys might be able to.
Here to elaborate? Or are you just going to keep pulling us along?
Well, you know how I mentioned the Knights Errant go between refugee camps? Yeah, it means they go in and they go out. If you can hitch a ride with them, get, through undetected, somehow, that's your only way out. They come in with food and water trucks. They come in powered armor. I don't think anybody's made it. But, maybe they did and they just never bothered coming back to say so.
Wait, you mean like a stealth thing? We're gonna stealth out of here? I literally am the shadows.
That's your big secret.
Okay.
No, that's...
Well, yeah, basically, but I got a starting point for you.
I can get in and out pretty easily.
Okay, well, remember how I said I sent my buddy up to the free hospital? As far as I can see, that's the place where they pay the least attention. People go in to get treated by the doctors. Mostly they come out And unlike all the entry points in and out of the refugee camps, they just sort of let people come and go. I guess because they figure all the prisoners are going back in, eventually. But it's built right up against the wall, goes all the way up. And from what I hear, goes all the way down too, like under the wall.
That actually
Walls aren't a problem.
Well, that wall might be a problem.
No,
I don't know what kind of magic things you can pull off, but they don't let people too near it normally, because I guess they know about the magic stuff that you people can do. They got laser turrets set up, and they got drones, and they got things that can watch your heartbeat through a wall. I don't know.
This is something is not tracking here for me, Crawford. You're telling me this hospital is built up against the wall, and it goes all the way up and all the way down, and they just let the. And this is a free hospital.
Got to keep the disease down, I guess. I don't know, man. I've never been, and all I know is the stories people tell about it. They say it's okay, but then not everybody who goes there ever comes out. But then that's like any hospital, right?
It's a good starting point.
I'm sorry I can't be more help. The boys and I probably ought to be getting back. I was hoping to bring more water and food, but I guess I'll settle for bringing everybody back alive. I got you to thank for that, Cyrus.
There's nobody to stop you from taking stuff from here.
I was going to say, just a second thought, there's plenty of stuff here. I bet if you find wherever his safe was, there's probably a shit ton of meal tickets in there.
And also,
Crawford looks at you shamefacedly. Actually, I was hoping you wouldn't mention it because I didn't want to have to share. But I really oughta.
No.
Why don't you help yourself too?
Look, Crawford, this is the deal. You take what you need. You give some to Cyrus here for the other building. You also help us with trying to investigate this murder situation. And we'll pass.
Yeah, we never actually told him exactly all the details about the murder situation.
Oh shit, there's a murder going on? I mean, people dying all the time around here.
All right.
I had to take a few out myself.
Listen,
your guy died.
Yeah, Crawford, don't make me pull rank on you to keep this one a secret. I don't want to do that. It feels like we're all pretty equal here, but the reason we're looking around for that boy of yours that got pulled to the hospital, he showed up at our building in a bad way.
Okay, well, you mentioned he was murdered. I figured you just meant like police shot him or
No.
another gang got him.
We're talking straight-laced serial killer shit, like that. I don't want to get too into details. We don't want to start a panic about this. You can obviously see the logic in that.
He was sick.
A face sewn on.
Just said, not the details.
Crawford's pallor goes very white. Oh. Wow. I was not prepared for that.
Understandably. Okay. Now, the reason why we're investigating is to try to find whoever did this, shut it down before it becomes a big problem. But it's not the first one that Cell Block 7's doc has seen, and she's heard scuttlebutt that some of the other cell blocks might be having them turn up. But just try and keep this on the down low. We're investigating this.
And you need to provide us information. And perhaps we won't pass on that you destroyed this neutral ground.
Oh, come on.
Well, that's going to get out no matter what. I mean, people saw me come in. They're going to see me go out. This is just how it's going to be. I'm going to have to shack up in cell block 5 rather. Manage to, barricade some of the lower floors, maybe.
Might be a way around that, actually.
Okay, well, that'd be cool. but I don't want to take up any more of your time. Let's break open whatever safe he's got back there. I'll gather whatever water they haven't ruined by turning it alcohol. Gather whatever alcohol they haven't ruined by making it crappy alcohol. And then I guess we can part ways.
Mm.
All right. See what he's got.
What is the molecular composition of the safe?
It's common iron. It's a lot of common iron.
It's a good thing Biodun isn't here.
Yeah, I know somebody would have a problem with that.
Okay, then task opens it.
Yes, you do.
Oh no, you murdered the safe. How could you?
You rip the door open like it's made of styrofoam.
He's made it unsafe.
Inside, there's about 100 sustenance tickets.
That's it.
That's it.
Stingy.
Basically a jackpot.
He said himself he didn't need them.
I know. I think it's just funny.
Tass looks into the safe and goes, "You eat paper in this reality?"
No, it's like you got money where you come from?
Yes,
Coin,
we do.
stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah, these are like bills here. You trade them for food and water. They're
I
only
understand.
good for, well, they're not only good for food and water. That's their purpose, but you could trade them for just about anything.
I understand. My very few biological functions do not require sustenance very often. Depending on how long we are here, I will not need to eat or drink.
That is a major plus because there's not a lot to go around here.
No, there ain't. So Crawford first divvies them up into 2 piles of 50 and then pauses, thinks for a moment, and then scoots another 10 over into your pile.
How about we go 50-50, and whatever you guys can carry out of here is yours.
I really appreciate that. Boys, leave 2 on the door, and let's clean this place out. We got to go move fast, because people are going to be coming in soon, and they're going to be wondering why everything's shut up, and they're going to be looking at us.
How far, out of character, how far away is cell block 5?
It's the one closest to this particular place, so it's probably like 15, 20 minutes.
Like distance-wise, how long would you say?
15
Hard to
20
say.
minutes?
You want to 15, 20 minutes on foot, maybe 5 or 6 kilometers.
Oh, okay. All right.
Impossibly far.
Yeah, we got to go a bit further, so we're not going to be carrying much. But,
You guys spend like an hour-ish getting here in the first place.
Crawford, what side is where in the city is the free hospital? And Chris, just for GM purpose, this is me asking: is it the opposite direction from Cell Block 7, or can we make a stop back without like really doubling back on ourselves?
It's somewhere you could go past Cell Block 7 if you needed to on the way there. It would add to your journey, probably add like another hour to the total journey. He points out that it's up against the north wall, which actually sends you right over to next to the basin of where Lake Ontario used to be.
So I turn to the rest of the group. All right, I wouldn't mind stopping around Cell Block 7 before we head back to that hospital. I think these tickets would be better used in the hands of the doc. Maybe give a bit of a status report on what's going on. Then we can make our way over and see what turns up. What do you guys think?
Well, in terms of getting out of here, I have a pretty solid way to do that.
I think that's the best idea ever.
Crawford, do you have I can't get you to cell block 5, but do you have a location that is safe, that is out of the view of people around you? That wouldn't seem suspicious.
Oh, well.
Within approximately 500 feet.
500 feet. There's a ruined mall that's like 300-ish feet that away. It's got a parking garage that's still mostly intact.
Good. I need as many details as you can describe to me.
All right, Crawford tries and keeps giving you a sketch until you're satisfied.
Perfect. Now, When you're ready, you have a minute. Minute's all I can give you. If the rest of us are done here as well, we can also take that minute to pass through.
Whatever you're about to do sounds good to me. I'll just trust you.
Cyrus?
I'm ready to go whenever you guys are.
Task. Wonder if you can do me a favor.
Yes,
First of all, are you coming with us?
I will come with you. It is clear that you need assistance. I am more than
Perfect.
willing to assist.
Then I need your assistance by carrying that corpse over there, and I kind of signal over to the sled.
Not a good idea.
Task picks him up with one hand.
I have questions I need answered.
True, however. City. See that we are holding the natural space. They will not be happy.
They won't see him. Trust me.
Hmm.
Now, if that's everything, are we moving?
I'm good here.
I am
And
prepared.
I look to the others as well.
Yeah. Themrir?
All right, boys, get close. I don't know what he's going to do, but we're just going to trust him.
And a moment later, I do a couple of rhythmic taps on the floor with my staff. And a gateway opens up in front of us. And it's approximately the size of a standard door, a little bit wider than like a standard like house door, probably like a double wide, thereabouts. And yeah, I'm procking that.
Nice.
I believe
So-
I'm beginning to understand where your abilities are lying, Zaniel.
Create a doorway through time and space.
Nice.
Manifest as a whole in reality large enough to accommodate you and creatures of your size or smaller. All right, beautiful.
Yeah, I did want to use it on the slad guy, teleport it into the air, and be like, "Have you learned how to fly yet?" But he's bigger than me, so
Wouldn't
That's
fit.
why you asked.
This is really cool use of it, though.
Yeah.
The gangsters, basically, from Cell Block 5 there, gape at the open wound in reality, and then quickly funnel through. Crawford scuttles back to grip Cyrus's hands with both of his hands and shake it profusely. I never thought I'd get to shake your hand in real life, Duke. Thank you.
You're doing a great job, Lieutenant. Just keep doing what you're doing. It's all anyone in Cell Block 5 can ask for.
Thank you, sir.
Kale extends his hand too. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. He shakes your hand profusely. Just like, thank you. Man, another legend for the crew of the owl. And
Just called me a legend.
and they rush, and he rushes back through the wormhole.
Gaylor, are you crying?
No. What? You're crying. You're crying, man.
if you are going to cry, please cry on the other side. You have 30 seconds.
I pushed Gaylor through the dimension door.
And task, if the slide doesn't fit, you're welcome to remove limbs. We just need his mouth and his head.
Already done. I've removed his arms and legs.
Take them with us.
I understand.
Cyrus
That's
crosses
not the end of it.
before the slot.
Task
Probably leaking.
Task has enough social understanding to understand that he's carrying a gross corpse, so he tries to be the last through. So
I will note that this lad's corpse drips a thick,
Yeah.
goopy ichor
That's fine.
that sizzles a little bit when it hits the ground.
It's all good. And I
A
can
little bit of it gets on you, Task, but your skin is impervious to it.
And I can close this at will on either side, so I go through before task.
right. Task went said it. I knew a great hero from my world that could make portals. I wonder if I'll see him again. And then steps through.
All right, we'll move forward from here just a little bit. Crawford and his boys get off on their way, and you're able to start the journey back towards wherever you want to. I assume that you want to question the Slad in this covered area here before you.
Oh no, I figured we just string them up in public and.
So
I did all the secrecy just to be public somewhere else. Yeah.
So we will do that, and then we're going to have one more scene, and then we'll call it for tonight.
Cool. All right.
So first, to see just how much of a connection you get to him, and whether or not you can pull him back from wherever he'd clearly much rather be, or maybe not. I'm going to have Themrir give it an effort.
Can I provide some semblance of assistance here?
I think you can. I think you can fuel Themrir's efforts in part by spending effort on his behalf.
Yep, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Okay, so retrieve memories. I am still impaired. Can I use my 10-minute heal before we do this?
You have an action heal that you haven't used yet.
Yeah, you haven't.
Then I will use that.
All right, go for it. So all you need to do is click that recovery there.
9 points.
Oh, nice.
Okay, and then you advance the track there from one.
Already
action
did
to 10
automatically.
minutes.
That's very cool.
Okay, I'm actually going to also
there we
use
go.
one of my one-action rests. Yes, I have multiple.
Okay. You have 2, in fact, right?
I have 3.
3.
That's interesting, considering I can give you the 4th.
I am very durable, guys.
I can give you the 4th. Don't worry about it.
Indeed.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I figured my luck, it'll just be min. Yeah, that's all right.
All right, so you remain at 1 action then in terms of your recovery roll, but you should make a note that you've used one of the 3.
Yep.
Christian, you took a pretty good look into that fight. You may want to consider using yours as well. I don't know what your sheet looks like, but I remember you taking a couple hits.
Yeah, I didn't get damaged. Like, I'm not down on the damage track, but sure. How do I?
Yeah, well, you're...
So go over to where it says recovery on your sheet, and you can just click on the word recovery.
Because your damage is going to be your pools, right?
I see that you've done that. So there you go. You get 5 points to spread amongst your pools however you please.
Oh.
Not going over your maximums, of course.
No. And then you need to advance on the recovery track from 1 action to 10 minutes. That means that the next recovery roll you take will take you at least 10 minutes.
Yep.
Okay.
Or you could be like me and counter my horrible luck with multiple recovery rolls.
Or else. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I got stuff. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so you're doing the thing. How much edge do you have for intellect?
I can't tell you that.
Well, basically, is it free for you to use?
I mean, I have a number.
I don't think it's particularly secret, but if you want to keep it close to the chest, that's fine.
I mean, I guess I don't have to. I'm playing
actually
the
billion.
video
I have a
game.
billion edge, guys.
Here, yeah. I don't have nearly as many as Task. I'll say that. Yeah. Unless you'll see it on the roll anyway. What's the difficulty?
Task has 1,000,000,001.
So this creature has only been dead for a few minutes, but I'm going to say that he doesn't really want to be awakened by you. So I'm going to increase the difficulty by 1 to 3.
3? And you're saying I can ease that?
Yeah, I'll allow you to basically input some magical power into the process.
Okay. I figured what I could do by spending a bit of effort, I can channel my staff a little bit with it, because I feel like that's the focus of everything I can still do, actually.
I think that's fine.
So I'm actually going to... So 2 would technically be 5, and I have a reduction of 2, so it'd spend 3, so I'm good with that.
Okay,
I'll
so you
drop
spend
that
3
down
from the
to...
pool?
Yeah, and I'll bring that down to the difficulty of 1.
That's right.
So it'd be technically a difficulty of 2 for Themrir. Oh no, he goes back up. Yeah. Because you're no longer impaired, right?
Yep, so it's a difficulty of 1 still for him.
Yeah, cool.
After that recovery roll.
So am I rolling with 1 effort then?
With 1 difficulty.
1 difficulty, because I'm doing the effort for you. Unless you want to spend another effort to reduce that to 0.
No, that's fine. I can do that.
Don't roll a 1 or a 2.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Oh.
So as before this happens, Themrir looks at Kale Arkham and says,
You, known as Kale Arkham, you said you could learn this. This may not be the shadows, but it is the next best thing. Pay attention.
and he again breathes this dust, this smoke that turns into a blue light that enters the slot and breathes life into it.
Be not afraid.
Thought so. Disciple of Jurgle. Curse it.
We have unfinished business, you and I.
You have me for a little while. But I don't need to answer your questions.
I attempted to save your life before you tried to take mine. I'm giving you one more kindness before final death. Please.
It is no
comply.
kindness. You desire things from me. I see no reason to give them.
Zaniel,
Then here's the
please.
deal. You answer our questions, and you never have to experience this again. Or, if you don't, we will keep doing it until you submit to our will.
Very well. I'm listening.
Very well. Twofold. First, there are murders that have been happening. Multiple. Faces are replaced on bodies. And we need information.
I know of these murders.
And we
Very
need
inventive.
Your place was neutral ground. Cesspool of information, as it were. We need leads. We need to know what you know.
Very well. I have heard that it is part of an effort to create something unusual. It's not too different from the sort of magic that I had suggested I could assist you with. Blood magic. It relies on death. The faces, though, I don't understand. Some sort of ritual. It's not been my concern.
Do you have any leads?
Leads. All roads lead here. There are so many different people constantly coming through. One day I see them, the next day they are dead in the gutters. They say many things, they fear everything. It is a refugee camp. Even I was merely biding time before everything came to an end.
Who would come in here gloating about not suffering like a refugee, seeming happier than they should be here?
There are no people here like that, unless you count the police forces. They consider themselves high and mighty indeed.
Themrir, any questions?
Did you see Jurgle on the other side before I brought your corpse back to life?
The slad's eyes sort of stare emptily into nothing. Ah. It was dark and empty. My clan owed its allegiance to you blacks. But he wasn't there to greet me. There's nothing, is there? Disciple of Jurgle.
There can be again. There may not be now, but I intend to bring it back.
My second question. That blood magic of yours. How do I attain that power?
Sacrifice. The proper runes and rituals. And a living slad as a focus.
Useless. Absolutely useless both in death and in life.
My pleasure.
Rotten eternity.
I think it will be just as empty for you as for me. And the slad's mouth gapes open in that smile, and then it just slides to the side.
May Jurgle remember you.
And he closes his eyes for him.
Whoa, Zaniel. I didn't know you were dark like that, man.
Time changes people.
So what did we get out of that one besides?
And he rubs his now still shaking hands.
Now that I've gotten pain out of this, what did we learn?
Unfortunately, I don't think we got much.
Watch out for the pigs, mostly. That this place is also a ticking time bomb. But if we didn't know that already, well, we'd be long gone anyway.
Well, on the bright side, it'll take them a while to find his corpse.
Why is that?
Look where we are. Nobody's here. Do what you need. And then we're leaving.
Kale Arkham, I hope you learned a valuable lesson from this experience. May you never have to use it yourself.
And Kale, I think I have questions for you when you have a moment.
Yeah. Okay.
But not now.
Oh, okay.
We can do it another place.
Yeah.
Maybe back when we go to meet up with the doc would be a better time.
It's a bit of a jaunt. You probably try and keep the conversation light and not deal with the potentially peace-breaking information that you have on hand. There's a tension in the street. You felt it on the way in, but you're all more aware of it now. It's something you could cut with a knife. There is a lot of looks your way. It doesn't help that some of you are dripping blood of various kinds. When you finally do make it back within eye and earshot of cell block 7, there's an ominous gathering. There's a lot of people here. Now, that's not in itself an unusual event. There's a lot of people in the building. Every one of the buildings is crowded. But this looks a little bit more organized. And of course, the flashing lights, the sirens, the heavy metal, that doesn't bode anything particularly good. The Knights Errant are stationed just outside the entrance to the building. I think we'll stop there for tonight.
Nice.
Damn.
Woo!
They brought the ambulance, guys.
That
Was
yeah,
pretty
rocked.
quick. So
Yeah.
hopefully that has nothing to do with everything we did. Hopefully that's
No, that's not. We have nothing to do with the story, guys. Everything we do is pointless.
I'm just saying. I hope it's like I hope it has nothing to do with the fact that Cyrus Vance from Cell Block 7 and his boys killed
And his boys.
No. And his boys,
Okay.
I didn't hurt
Look.
anybody. I tried to
Now look.
save somebody.
Okay, now the whole point to Zaniel's little trickery here is everybody went in, nobody came out.
Mm. That's true.
Also, I will say, I DM Chris, but I don't know if he saw it. I was hoping that should no one oppose it, I would just use my rifle to disintegrate the corpse, so that no one would ever find it.
Yeah, that's your prerogative.
I think that's fine.
I don't think anybody would stop you.
It's honestly it's up to Themrir. 'Cause
No, leave this broken body.
I know that Themrir of all people might have an issue with that.
No, death is just another state of life. Once
Okay,
you're,
yeah, he's a
once
pile
you're
of dust.
once you're a corpse, it matters less.
Hey,
So what you're saying is his limbs may be ripped off and he's a broken and battered body, but he lives?
No. You still have to treat bodies and people with the
But
respect
he
that they deserved in
lives.
life.
he just didn't
However,
deserve
this
respect.
guy might not have deserved
That
it.
when Chris wrote, like that conversation we had after the fight with Crawford and like Task first joined, that conversation was wicked. Like that was so.
You guys brought it.
Yeah,
That was
like, everyone's so
lot.
well defined, and yeah.
Death is a concept.
It took everything in my power not to pull Themrir and Zaniel aside and go, look, Kale's kind of dumb. If you keep talking so sad, he's going to be upset.
Don't make my puppy upset.
And that's why, yeah, I thought that's why I thought it was so cool that Task was like, no, I have seen better. I'm from a land of superheroes.
Oh, yeah.
right? Like,
Thank God you turned the empathy brain back on, because that
Yeah,
could have been
seriously.
a stockpile.
you might have killed Kale from the inside out if you had not done that.
You turned the conversation around at that
Oh,
point.
man.
Yeah, I
No.
feel like
The
with
both of us
Task,
were
instead of a
manifesting that
brain,
we
he
got
just
it.
has like a switchboard.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're not
Yes,
far off.
Basically.
So
Yeah.
Electricity on, electricity off.
He's running an OS is what he's
Yeah.
doing.
Oh, he's using Linux. Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
the I'm the closest we have to a robot character. It really is not that too far off. So
Oh no, he's a robot, guys.
If Task had piled on Kale, too, I could see Kale looking
Yeah,
down to the
just-
ground and going, no, I really am the darkness.
Hey, Chris, funny thing, looking at your
Mascara
camera,
running.
I thought you were like doing like a slow elevator rise back into frame, and I realized, oh no, he's lowering his desk.
The answer is yes. In any case, I think we're going to bid you all good night.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching,
yeah,
and we look forward to joining you again next week.
Let us
Love you,
salute the blackbird.
what are we looking forward to on the next episode, Chris?
What's it called? Yeah.
Let me go find my notes.
Oh no.
Here I was hoping I could get away with it. All right.
Never.
It wasn't for you damn kids and your dog too.
And you can look forward to next episode, Liminal Spaces.
Ooh.
Nice. All right.
Great title.
Take care.
Good night, everybody.
Cheerio.
Love you.